Hello, everyone, and welcome to another broadcast with US Chess. I'm Women's Grandmaster Sabina Feuchter. Very excited to be here and be a part of this wonderful event that takes place in Salt Lake City, Utah. It's the second tournament of this kind where we have some of the strongest senior female players in the country. Before I keep on talking and starting to get into the games and letting you know how this tournament came about and more information, I just wanted to, welcome all of you, but also hear from you in the chat how things are going. Okay, looks like everything's good. So that's wonderful. I normally should be here in time and everything with every single round. You guys can learn more about the schedule of this tournament and when I'll go live. Be sure to follow US Chess Twitch page. That way you stay notified when I go live or someone else might go live. But here this weekend it's going to be me. And I'm super excited about this opportunity because as I was able to be at the starting and let's say opening ceremony of the tournament, I was asked by the organizer that I'm very thankful for doing this. And the organizers are Maureen Grimond and her husband, David Grimond. They put together this tournament last minute. And at the opening, she kind of put me on the spot to say a few words. And I just wanted to say that as a kid, growing up in a chess family, my mom oftentimes, as she kept being stronger and kept having to compete, she was told at some point that she was too old to compete. And she was in her 40s and she was still number 2 in the country. And that was a moment for me where I felt it is not okay. You cannot tell people what they can and they cannot do. And definitely you cannot tell them that they cannot play chess at a certain age. And that was a moment where I was inspired to always find ways to promote chess for various ages, for all genders, for everyone who's passionate about the game, wants to learn more, and just simply have fun with it. And I'm super grateful also to US Chess for giving me the opportunity to stream here. I hope I'll see many of you. And without further ado, let's get into the tournament. So this being the second competition, we have quite a number of very strong female players who have achieved greatness as they were competing in their younger ages, but they continue to play chess and they're fighting for $4,000, I believe, is the first prize. I'll let you guys know more details about that, but let me tell you the players. So we have woman grandmaster Angelina Belakovskaya, who's playing the first round with the black pieces against Julia O'Neill. Angelina is 2178, while Julia is 1776. We have Olga, woman FIDE master, Olga Sagalchik. She plays against Mary Kunar, woman candidate master. Natasha Christiansen, I'm pretty sure many of you have heard about her husband, but she also is a very strong female chess player. She's a woman candidate master, paired against Beatrice Marinello, who's a women's international master, has been the president of US Chess Federation and many times being part of FIDE and a few other events. She's definitely a great name in US chess and always has done a lot of things for promoting chess, not only for women, but also a lot of scholastics. So hopefully we'll continue seeing her compete. Then next board that we have is going to be Natalia Tsodikova. She's a women's FIDE master. I had the pleasure to interview her earlier today, and she was very positive, very excited to play. And wow, what an opening. Okay, I need to get into these games very soon. If you guys know extra information about any of the ladies, please do let me know. I'm here to share my passion for chess, but also I want to know more about the history of women's chess in the US that maybe I have moments where I'm lacking. So if any of you are, familiar with this, please don't hesitate to let me know. And she's playing against Brenda Nardi. Then on the next board, we have Women's International Master and Doctor, PhD in Education, Alexei Root. She was also US Women's Champion, I believe, in 1991. A very famous author, and she's also one of the first in the United States who has started how could I call it? Lectures about chess in a university at UTD. So for those of you who haven't heard the name, you certainly will be hearing more. Carla Naylor, I actually know Carla for many years. We used to compete in tournaments in DC. She got into chess because her son was playing, and she kept up with it, and she's still training. She told me this before the competition. And last but not least, we have Women's International Master Kennedy Shernaz competing against Sekar Jayashri. So, what I know about these last two ladies, well, I had a wonderful conversation with Shernaz last night. She was wonderful to tell me a lot of Bobby Fischer stories, actually. And she has written a book about it. And I can't wait for the book to be published. I will try my best to make sure it gets out because I want to hear all that. And maybe some of you want to know those too. And then Sekar Jayashre, I also got the chance to interview her, and probably you guys will see some of these videos on US Chess YouTube page. Don't forget to follow US Chess social media accounts to stay notified for the various things that are happening. But anyways, let me know where you're watching from, whom you're rooting for, any questions that you have, and if there's a particular game you want me to go into. I'll catch up with the chat in just a moment. I was struggling to get the live, and I'm very excited to be here with you guys. So that was my calming moment there. But anyways, Aliat, thank you so much for stopping by. I know you're very busy. Aliat is actually one of our tournament directors, but I guess he's checking the chat a bit. It's great to see. Chess Lovers got a lot of information about Angelina. Yes, she has won many US championships, and she was also part of US Women's Olympic team. I'm not sure on how many occasions, but if you know the number, please feel free to let me know. Chess Lover, I'll have the opportunity to interview her later as well. So I'll learn myself more. I actually had to play against her one year in the US Championship. It did not go very well for me, but that's okay, because we'll get the chance to compete again, I'm sure. You're rooting for Carla. Awesome. I'm very excited that a lot of the legends are here, and maybe some names that you guys don't know, but it is wonderful to see so many women excited to be here and play. And also, I love to see the camaraderie between them because, you know, personally, I've often felt that there's a lot of competition going on between us girls, and just to be able to see them after 20, 30 years of having competed against each other, being back to compete against each other, but also be able to chat and talk about their experiences, their stories, I feel that it's super exciting and empowering, and I would just love to see more of that in the future. And hopefully this is going to be a tournament that will continue being organized, because I think we need to focus on a lot of promoting chess at all levels and all ages. So yeah, all right, let's get started. So let's catch up with what happened in this game between Julia O'Neill and women grandmaster Angelina Belakovskaya. And the cool thing about it is that I didn't remember I actually did play against Julia in a tournament. I didn't know. She called me in the elevator and she asked me if I remember her, and I felt so bad. Does this ever happen to you guys, that you meet someone and don't remember? I usually remember the losses though, so maybe that's why I didn't remember, but I'm pretty good with faces, so I don't know. But Julia started with e4. We had a Sicilian. From what I remember, Angelina is a very aggressive player, so she went for the Sicilian, and we had the Grand Prix. Okay, d3, bishop g7, knight f3. Everything seems very natural to me so far, I gotta say. I have a student who actually plays this line, so maybe I'll tell her to play with bishop e2. Typically, I've seen these lines being played with g3 and bishop g2. Those are some other ideas that you can do with white. As for this knight in c3, if you're wondering, typically it goes to the attack later through e2. That's why I feel a bit surprised about the placement of bishop here. And of course, I'm not the most knowledgeable about every single opening. However, I feel that I would rather use that square for the knight, but of course, feel free to correct me at any point. It's only 7 p.m. here, actually close to 8. So if I drop something, you should be happy. Yeah, unfortunately, she did. She did. Okay, so let us see what would be the plan in this position for white. Definitely how the game proceeded with after 97 queen e1. And the plans are to get the queen towards the king side. At some point have some ideas with f5, I think. Maybe knight g5 because black does not have a knight in f6, which means h7 could be a target. And then white often has ideas with g4 as well. We're not worried that we start pushing pawns in front of the king because we are the position is closed. There's nothing open in the center, and usually d5 is met with e5, or you just stay there, and in case of a capture, you take back. And the idea is, even if the d file gets opened, there isn't a way for black to really get activated. What black usually does in these types of positions is push this particular pawn forward, so that's usually supported with rook b8 or a6. b5, b4, chase this knight away. That bishop opens up. You definitely don't want to take this knight because that is your super strong piece that you need to keep there. And of course, placing a knight in the middle of the board is always ideal, is always a great location for it. Heating c2 particularly because now the queen moved to e1. So Angelina actually did play knight d4, and Julia responded with bishop d1. This is an idea, if I remember correctly, Fischer did this kind of idea with the bishops where he took a rook out and then brought the bishops back to cover things. Just the only thing is that white did not take this rook out, but I think the position is quite all right here for white castle, and we'll have to wait and see how Julia continues in this position. Maybe bishop e3. The king will go to h1 definitely. You see, with this kind of setup with black placing the knight in e7, there's ideas of f5. So anytime you try to attack, this could be something that black does, or maybe some d5 at some point too. But mostly I would go for b5. I used to play French a lot in my life with the black pieces against the close French. And I used to like pushing my pawns forward, so we'll have to wait and see how things are going there. Let's catch up with board 2. So we have woman FIDE master Olga Sagalchik against Mary Kunar. And what did we have here? Ooh, the Dutch defense. Okay. Bishop g2, knight f6, bishop a4 check. It's so interesting because I usually play this with white as well. This is, as a kid, this was my pet line, let's say. And whether it was Leningrad Dutch, that is with g6 instead of e6, or this, which could transpose, if black plays d5 later, it could transpose to a Stonewall. I used to love this position. So what I learned from it is that personally, I enjoyed keeping my knight in b1. The reason for that is particularly if black plays d5, whether here or later, let's just put it here for now, just for the purpose of this explanation. When you go d5, you're putting another pawn on white, and you're going to support it later with c6, right? So you have that chain of pawns, which is called the Stonewall. And I personally love these lines with b3, bishop a3, because by doing that, I'm trading the bishop. I get rid of their good bishop. They stay with their terrible bishop in c8. And then this knight, you know, if black captures, the knight takes, and the knight will eventually come back into play. I personally like to bring it back, knight b1, knight c3, because if you go knight c2, then you're stuck. There's no follow-up to it. But if you go back knight b1, you can either go back to c3 to put pressure in the center, or you can reroute it to come back towards d5. So that's another idea, but you definitely want to get it back to b1, not c2 in my opinion. Of course, if there's a capture in c4, usually you take back with a pawn. In some cases, I've seen knight capturing. Okay, so moving on to see how the game proceeded. So after bishop b4 check, Olga decided to go knight c3. Bishop d2 is something else you can do because you technically do want to trade the bishop. So this would be probably something I would consider. And I wonder if black was ready to go back to e7 and just try to take advantage of the fact that you did develop your bishop here. Black lost the tempo with bishop b4, but so did white. So this could be something to consider. But she went for knight c3, which is quite interesting. Because the question is, well, where will you develop this bishop? That is my question right now. So we'll have to catch up with the game. Castle knight h3. Oh, I love the knight h3. It's so funny because if you're new to chess and you see knight h3, you're like, why do you put the knight on the rim? And what I always like to tell my students is, as you get to be a stronger player, you learn some things a certain way, and then you unlearn them to learn them a different way, because rules are there to be improved and understood differently. And so this knight is not going to stay there forever. This knight has the opportunity to come into play through f4 or g5, which will give white a very nice position for the knight. d5, castle, and bishop takes c3. So it's interesting to see this move because black ends up giving her dark square bishop, which is the good bishop, and now stays with this bishop in c8, which is restricted by a lot of pawns. And I'm starting to not be fond of black's position. I used to play the Dutch, well, not the Dutch, but the Stonewall myself, and I think my last game that I played, I lost really badly, and then I told myself never again. But there's some nice ideas in the Stonewall where, okay, there are two different ideas, two different plans that black can adopt. One of them is to try to bring this bishop this way, and by doing that, you will try to put some pressure. But because the knight is in h3 now, it won't do much, right? You get the bishop to h5, and then what? There's no knight in f3 that you can get rid of the bishop on. So then that plan is kind of going away. So an additional plan for black is to try to play b6, bishop b7, and try to play with c5. You could also try bishop a6 to put pressure on this diagonal. Sometimes c6 is played, of course, but I think that is probably the way to take your bishop out. And here's the important thing that needs to be discussed about these types of pawn structures. The fact that white has this outpost, okay, you can never chase me away if I place a knight there. Black does not. Let's make it another color. This place is nice for the knight, but you're going to be chased away with f3, particularly because the knight is here. The knight goes away. And that's the reason why I'm not a fond of knight e4, and it looks like chess.com immediately marked that move as a mistake. It's not per se a mistake that will lose the game, but it's just this idea that you are going to have to move the knight again. You're not doing that much with that move. I don't know if I would play c6 in this position or if I attempt to go b6. I feel that there's something wrong with b6 here. Maybe capture and then c4. And I can try immediately to put pressure in the center. I don't know about takes, how this move would actually be. I know the engine is running over there, but these are the types of positions that I personally like. I wasn't a huge fan of this capture. This is a move that I do not like. You know, the funny thing is, I have this funny story. So you guys know I come from a chess family, and I have a sister who's a women's international master. She stopped playing chess and now wants to be the super private person. I can't even share a picture or wish her happy birthday anymore, which is sad. But I remember one time I was preparing to play in the Women's World Chess Championship, and I had to fly all the way to Khanty-Mansisk in Siberia. And basically, what happened was I didn't want to be super jet lagged with the huge time difference. So I decided to stop by in London or in England where my sister lived at the time. She still lives there. And just ask her to spend a few days to adjust to at least something that will be not a huge time difference. And I asked her to play some games with me. And my sister, since she doesn't play chess anymore, and she didn't, she just is a very accomplished PhD, said, okay, I'll play some games with you. So we play, and guess what I was doing? I was giving up my bishop pair. All the time in every game I played against her, somehow I felt the need to give my bishops for the knights. Now, the knights are my favorite pieces, but that doesn't mean that you play a game and every time you'll give up your bishops. So I'll never forget this. My sister, after we played, comes to me. Well, she tells me, Sabina, listen, I know you beat me many times, but that's because I don't play chess anymore. I'm not sure if I would actually train you would beat me. So that hurt a bit, because she's the younger sister. She's not training. Like, that meant I'm not in the best shape. But she told me, Sabina, I noticed you keep giving your bishops. I mean, aren't you a positional player? What is this all about? Why are you giving up your bishops? And, well, that stayed in my mind. And I always think twice before giving up a bishop for a knight. You need to make sure that your bishop is really inferior to the knight when you make this decision. So this is something I personally did not like. I told the ladies I'll try my best to make as objective and nice comments as possible. So I have to say when I'm not happy with something. So be mindful when you give up pieces, when you make trades like this, please, because it could make your position a bit harder to play. It could make it difficult because these pawns are not really weak. This pawn will be traded in d5, and white can after that go c4. So let's catch up with the moves here. Queen c2, c6, knight f4, very typical. Maybe I wonder if f3 could have worked right now, or should we wait a bit? Bishop f4 is also nice for white because, you can get the bishop out first. This knight can come into play later. I definitely would want to see a rook on the e file, and definitely this is gonna happen. I promise you. Knight f4, knight d6, and this is the current position. By the way, let me know where you're watching from, whom you're rooting for, and is this for real? Is this what really happened? Well, I need to talk to Natasha. Is this are we getting the right position? I don't even know. Okay. All right, h4, first move. What are we thinking? What are we thinking? I don't know. I don't know what I'm supposed to say after that move. It's gonna transfer into something good, because even a4, rook a3, those kind of ideas, it's not something you see a lot, but it's cool. Hey, in enterprising chess, that's what we want, right? You think that because it's a women's senior tournament, you're not gonna see fighting chess? I think you're gonna see even more fighting chess than anything else. Oh, this is exciting. Maybe I should consider. Okay, let's see how the game goes. I like both. I know both Natasha and Beatrice, and both of them are very nice. I had the pleasure to talk to both of them, and I hope maybe one day I'll have them on the YouTube that I'm working on with US Chess class and session, hopefully, and to talk to my boss about it. Well, not my boss, but anyways, let's see. So it's gonna transpose to what? It's gonna transpose to some kind of cole, some kind of. I'm gonna bet it's gonna be a Pillsbury attack. So here's the cool thing. I used to write for Chess Informant, and one of the articles was on Pillsbury because I just love this idea so much. And so I wrote these games. He had a game against Tarash, I think, the first time, and he won that game. I think it was 1901, possibly. I'm not the best with years, but he had this idea, right? So he played it, and it didn't go so well. But finally, he ended up winning it because Black made some mistakes. Then the next round, he plays it again, and he wins the game. And after that, I think it's a Pillsbury Marco game. If you guys haven't seen that game, that's a pretty cool game that you can see, where he really uses this f4, f5 attack, and it works great. It leads to a mate. Now, you can say something now, why are you telling us this? There's h4 on the board. I know. Just give me a moment. So basically, what I did in my article is say, well, Pillsbury attack has improved over time. And we see these ideas now because think about, for example, the London system, right? So the London was usually right with bishop f4, and then after that, you would play bishop f4, bishop g3 and stuff, or trade the bishops or not. Then you would go, for f4, and you would get the knight in the center, and everything would be, following up the Pillsbury idea. But later on, if you guys are looking at more recent games, you see people that came up with the idea of not going for f4, but instead not developing the knight in f3 and playing h4, and then getting the queen out to f3 and try to use that h-pawn as a means of attack. So that is the reason why I felt that I could call it that. Now, it was my idea. I don't know if it's good or not, but feel free to let me know in the chat. And I would love to interact with the chat. It's always much nicer when I interact with you than if I talk by myself, but don't be shy. Feel free to let me know your thoughts. But what we have over here is a quite interesting position because Beatrice decided to play this move knight c6. And usually I tell my students not to place their knight in front of the c-pawn because you do want to have the ability to play c5 and attack the center, because after that you get to develop the knight in c6 and you are actually giving yourself an additional square of space, the c7 square, opening up the queen, right? But it's interesting to me that she made this decision, and I wonder if she was thinking that she would later go play with e5. By the way, I didn't tell you guys, but the time control for this tournament is 1 hour 30 minutes with 30-second increment. Okay, so what have we got here? I'm thinking of a plan. How is Natasha going to continue here? Because I'm not sure. This is an interesting choice to place that knight. I guess she wants to take this other knight through h3. And maybe go for some knight g5s. Or maybe bishop g5. Or maybe she wants to go knight e5 and bring the other knight to f3, possibly. We'll have to see. I'll be back to this game. I want to catch up with every game. Do you think they're trolling us? Yes, Larry Christensen. Yeah. You did. That's great. That's great. Okay, so we have a grub now by Natalia Tsodikova. Okay, I interviewed Natalia. She told me she's very much into fighting chess, and she told me it's tough when she loses. So I told her I'm right there with her. I totally get it. But we had a grub. Oh my god, I love this. I love this. Take me here every day, and I'll gladly comment on things. So we have a grub. So the first time I played against the grub, it was, I think, in a real game. It was in Vegas last year. There was the sir who played it. I think he was into his 70s or 80s, and he plays g4 in the first move, and I had no idea what to do. I play some d5, and I got a pretty good position. Eventually, I played some h5, opened up the file, and it worked out in my favor, but oh, it's not so easy. Wow, okay. All right. I'm excited to learn new things. D3, H6. Okay, so we're not going for the pawn now. Don't ask me why, because I do not know. I do not know what the ideas are. Any of you in the chat knows what the ideas are here? I see you, chat. I know you're there. I feel that everyone is supporting their significant others, or maybe kids are watching this commentary. Okay. Anyone knows? Just quick development in space. Okay, I also don't know the theory, and I'm gonna try to avoid, maybe I can check the openings, like small cheating here for a second. 0 games. Okay, well, that was helpful. Thank you. Thank you, openings on chess.com, for not sharing those details with me. I guess I'm getting no help. I'm getting no, ooh. Oh, someone's watching. Okay, let's see. Florida Chess Live. A very famous author and cool person, by the way. I don't know if you wanted me to say who he is, but anyways, never mind. Let me know if you want me to say who you are or not. But anyways, very knowledgeable on openings. So let's see what the theory is. Bishop g2. Okay. g4. Wait, g4 a5? No. Oh, you're just saying the line. Okay, let's see the line here. g4 a5, bishop g2, knight c6, c4, knight g7, knight c3, knight g6. Yeah, I think I've seen it e5. I usually, like, I used to play d5 against b4, but like then I played some e5, but not against g4. Knight g6, it's an easy line. Sounds right? Yep, Florida Chess Life knows what he's talking about. He's definitely does know. Okay, but please enlighten me what happens after knight takes g4, if you do know, because I don't know exactly how white is gonna proceed. Is it e4 probably? I think it's e4. I'd go for e4. Then you have to move the knight, and then probably some development, knight c3, bishop g5. And the fact that you took the pawn later will be helpful for white to attack. This would be my suggestion. If I see something else in the chat, I'll come back to it. But h6, I'm not sure. h6, I'm not sure about this move, how much is going to help black in a way, because white does push this pawn forward to eventually go g5, so you're creating the hook, which white is very excited about, because once g5 will be played and trades will happen, the file will open up right on black's king if black castles. But what is going on here? Do we have a delay in the moves? Because I mean, we do have 15 minutes delay, by the way, from the live transmission, but h3 b5. Okay, I don't know if I like b5. I was gonna say I like it, but I'm not sure I like it. Bishop g2, and I'll go a4. I don't know if black wants to play knight c6. Maybe, but I would go for a4. I think this is a nice kind of approach. You see these pawns pushed to the side. You got to be a bit careful. So we'll catch up with this game as well in a bit. I want to see everything at once. But I really like that line that disappeared, of course. Okay, let's see. So Carla, I remember I met her, like I said, in a lot of tournaments in DC. She told me she got into chess with her son, and I know they were both taking classes and trying to get better. She didn't want to disclose the information about her coach, but she did tell me she worked with someone to get ready for this tournament, so it's exciting. And she plays against Women's International Master Alexei Ruud, and it was a modern defense. Here, a6. I used to play this as black. A4, of course, to stop b5. And oops, apologies. And now bishop g7, h3. Interesting approach to play h3 here. Of course, the idea is stop bishop g4. So you want to play knight f3 and then you stop bishop g4. But I don't know. I feel like I would go more aggressive. I'm not even an e4 player, but I would go aggressive because why not? It's not my game, right? No, but this was a line that I remember when I was playing the modern. This was a line that was usually scaring me a bit. I don't know about a4 or not, but f4. These I don't know if it has a specific name, but this idea with f4, oopsie, not f3, apologies. F4 was often something that I was worried about. Okay. Okay, h3. Oh, okay, I did not expect a g4. I thought knight f3 and, you know, since h3, you know, and then bishop e2. At some point you do have ideas with e5, but now that a4 is played, you definitely cannot castle long. So if you do want to go for an attack, okay. Okay, g4. d5, I like d5. Was there an e5 here possible in this position? Because that is a move you have to be mindful about. Either e5 or takes. And then I think we got bishop c4. Engine doesn't totally agree with me, but I'm not going by the engine. Actually, I like bishop e3 a bit better. Bishop e3 because bishop e3 is with tempo, development with tempo, followed by castle, and taking advantage of this misplaced king, which the thing is that normally you want to put it in c7, but there will be bishop f4 check. If you have to go back to e8, it's going to take a while for you to castle by foot. I guess you might need to do something like that, but I don't think you have time for it. So I personally would have gone for this endgame, I think. I think this is slightly better. See, this is always something that I get asked when I teach, either by the parents or by the students, by the kids, and they ask me what is the best move in the opening pretty early on, and should I close the position or should I trade and go towards the end game? And my answer typically is to make the decision based on the type of player that you are. So if you enjoy playing more attacking chess, or you're better in closed positions, then you definitely should close the position, go more for the space advantage, and then focus on that space advantage to follow up with plans. However, if you prefer more open positions, then of course, you know, you can do that. You can go towards an end game. You can choose those kind of positions. You don't always have the opportunity to choose the types of positions you can play because usually the opponent chooses, particularly if you're playing with the black pieces. White is usually the one who can go towards, you know, more closed or open position. So with black, I feel that oftentimes you have to be ready. You can still choose some things, but not as much. But when you're playing with the white pieces, you definitely have those options. And I don't want to say d5 is a mistake, because it's a good move if you prefer more closed positions and you want to go for the attack. If you're more of a player that enjoys endgames, then you definitely should consider going for this line, because it's an automatic forced trade-off pieces going towards an endgame where your opponent's king is misplaced. It's not the end of the world because you can still go on a side or another, but it will be something that you want to be mindful about. But Carla decided to go for the d5, a more aggressive approach. And this is interesting. And I always like to compare openings. There's always similarities between stuff that you know and stuff that you should know. I don't know. Stuff that happens in a game. So for example, this is similar to a King's Indian, and the difference that you should realize is that white's pawn is in c2, not in c4. How is that a benefit for white? Well, this c4 square will be able to be utilized potentially by a knight or maybe by a bishop. Or considering g4 is played, maybe that's useless to consider about that because it's not going to do anything. If you bring it there, you might as well just focus on a kingside attack. As for black, you see black did not play e6 yet, but black has played a6. So in a way, this move could be really nice because black's plans typically are either with e6, right, trade here, and then usually get the knight in c7, put pressure in d5, and then support b5. But here, with a6 being played, that doesn't work. A second plan and idea for black is to try to get the knight here, but I don't know how great that will be if f4 comes in. So black needs to think about an e6 quite fast, or else white will have sufficient pressure in d6 that you won't be able to push anymore. So yeah, you need to have an idea of what you're doing. Bishop g2, e6. Okay, knight e2. Takes. Okay. So I need to think here for a moment and see whether white could have considered doing this move. Yeah, probably it's not so great. It's not as great as I thought it could be, because white is behind with development with so many pawn pushes, and black will get d5 in the next move, or so on. So black played e6 at the right moment. It's basically my conclusion. Knight e2, okay. All right. Do I like the knight in e2 is my question. Or do you like the knight in e2? Or would you have rather had it in f3 so that you can actually bring it to c4 with a bishop here? That would have been nice. Do you think white is thinking castle? No, not with the pawn in a4. Okay, so when you play h3 g4, you definitely need to cover the dark squares. So that's kind of a way that you can put pressure on the diagonal. So I'm thinking the bishop belongs to f4, then g3. But I'm not sure what this knight belongs to right now. Well, I would put it in c4, but it's hard. So what do you guys think in the chat? You don't know either. Okay. You don't like white's position? No, white's position is not bad. I don't like the knight in e2. Why do you don't like white's position? Knight g3, f4, f5? I'm not sure about that. Maybe. I guess you do have to focus somehow on the king side. Maybe that will work. You need to be careful about this diagonal, though. So knight e8, castle. Okay, so black is trying to play f5. This is basically something that black will try to do. I don't think white's position is that bad, and I'm not saying it because I see that bar, because I don't even know what that bar means. I don't even know what it means. I only put it for you guys because every time I stream on my channel, you tell me you want to see the bar, and then when I streamed for US Chess in the past, people have said that they like the bar. It also keeps me accountable for the silly things that I could potentially say or not say. I mean, I don't like to admit when I'm wrong, but I do it anyways. But I don't know how many people really like to admit when they're wrong, but I will take I will take the blame when I make mistakes. So I'm thinking bishop f4 here. I'll go bishop f4. You know, actually, this knight is not. Yeah, you know what? If you go 5, I got an idea. Maybe the knight will go to e6. That could be something. Hi, Mike. I think I know you, Mike. I think I know who you are. f5 seems way too premature for black. There's so many ways for black to improve. Okay, please share the mic. I'm here to learn too, so please don't hesitate to let me know. Bishop f4 stops knight c7 to cover e6. Yeah, so these are two typical maneuvers, you know. Knight a6, knight c7, and this knight goes to d7. That's one way that you get the knights. And then the other typical way that people get it is, let's make it another color. Knight, come on, seriously? Can I make another color? Okay, I made it. Okay, so this knight goes there, and then this one goes here like that. Those are very typical for Benoni. Now, this is not quite a Benoni. This was a modern, right? There's no pawn in c4, and there's a fianchetto bishop in g2, which is also extra. That's what Sam Shanklin told me last time that I interviewed him. I was very excited about something he did, and he said, yeah, but this is not the same. So I will use his words, not mine, his, in case I get blamed. You can blame him. Bishop f4 allows the occupation of e5 with black piece. Yes, it does allow the occupation, but what like I said, I want to put the bishop in f4, then I'll retreat, and then I'll play f4 and chase you away. Now, if you put a bishop, I'm happy to trade it any moment of any day. I will trade your bishop. So you have to put a knight. I agree, but your knight is not stable there. You will be chased away with f4. So that's not something I'm worried about. And then we can follow with the idea f4, f5 that I believe it was Neander 63 that said that, right? So, you know, bringing the knight to c2 and trying to play b5 is definitely one of black's plans, but I think f5 is definitely another move that black needs to consider. Because you can actually utilize the fact that the pawn is on g4, don't you think? This is the current position. So what move are we expecting for white? Let's decide. I vote for bishop f4. It's a nice development move. You guys don't like it because of knight e5. Okay, let's see. This was my plan. Am I missing some knight c4 or something? I think it's f5. You know, this is the move that... But Mike said not to do it. I want to trust Mike. But I also want to trust myself. Because we need confidence, right? We need to have confidence. You can imagine Michael Tal playing black and winning. Why is that? He can play with white pieces and be winning too, because it was Mikhail Tal. I mean, come on. Everyone loves Tal. Okay, we can vote for another move. If you don't like my bishop f4. What could be a nice move for white here? Should we go for f4 directly, just super aggressive? You should check out the very famous Tal Petrosian game, where he started with knight f3 first move, then transposed to a modern against Petrosian, and there's an actually en passant d takes e6, and then this is one of my favorite games that I like to use to teach attacking chess, because you play some knight g5 at some point, and so beautiful, that game. Oh, it's one of my favorite games of Tal. I know everyone likes that game where he sacrifices the queen, very famous, but I like the less famous ones. Because there's always the story. There's always something different. You want to know the players not necessarily what they are known for, but things they're not known for, because that's how you actually get to really know them, I think. I don't know. What other moves? Do we want an a5, actually? Do we want to stabilize the position there? I like a5. And you know what I want to do? Because I always love these ideas. A rook lift. I want a rook lift in this game. Let's vote for a rook lift at some point. If you can get the bishop out, you will get your rook out another way. Or maybe b5 will be played, and then you take en passant and your rook will have stuff. We'll have stuff to do. I like a5. So bishop f4 is fine, a5. Knight g3, I don't know if knight g3 could not be too bad either. Try to get your knight towards e4. Actually, maybe this is another nice placement, and you are controlling that square. So if he goes knight c7, then you can go knight e4 maybe. Right? Put in some pressure. And more pressure. And I definitely want a5. He's not ready for b5. No, I'm liking white's position slightly. I know it's a bit unusual to see this pawn in g4. Usually it is in g3. But it might be helpful for white to build up an attack. We'll get back to this game, I think. Oh no, they made some moves. No. No, this is the current position. Okay. And catching up with the final game. Ooh, lots of moves have been played in this. I feel like I'm slow. I'm slow today. It's because I started late. And again, I apologize. I've been having some technical difficulties. And I thought I had everything ready, but I didn't. So it's my mistake. But I really appreciate all of you being here. And please don't hesitate to let me know if there's a particular game you want me to go over, if there's a particular player you're supporting, where you're watching from, and anything else. If you have some questions for the players, this is the moment to let me know, because I'll have the opportunity to talk to them. I've already talked to some, but I feel that I could talk more to them. And if you have specific questions that you'd like me to ask them, I would love to do that. You know, I've done it in the past, and why not do it now? Always looking for a way to support women. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Ooh, A3. I haven't seen this move. So we have okay, a Women's International Master Sharnaz Kennedy. And I told you that she told me some Bobby Fischer stories. And they were so good. Oh my goodness, they were so good. And I cannot wait. I'm crying just listening to her last night. You know, I arrived here and I didn't know who she was. And then, you know, introduced each other. And I was, and my dad was a huge Fischer fan. And I just listened to her stories, and she's so emotional like me, so maybe that's why I enjoyed it so much, and very passionate about sharing her stories. And it reminded me of myself. I think some of my friends think I talk too much, probably a lot too much, and I always get very excited. I don't think I've met anyone as excited as I get sometimes as she was. So, I didn't know how old she was. I was sure she's not that old, but she's older than. She looks wonderful, and she's had an incredible life story that I hope we'll get to read soon. I'm sorry, I don't know why I got emotional, but it was just huge fan of Bobby, actually. So yeah. Anyways, she played a3. Okay, a3. Knight c6, knight c3, knight e7. So I talked to Jaya Shre earlier today, and she was telling me that she keeps trying to play chess and get better each time, and she wants to see more women's tournaments or senior tournaments, adult tournaments that are taking place in the US, because it would be nice to have opportunities to compete against other people who are not always just kids. And I thought she made a good point with that, and it was great to see her here. She was worried also about her English because she does come from India, and but she did great. I can't wait for you guys to see those interviews. I'll share them as soon as I can, and hopefully you guys will enjoy them. That's only because we never discussed chess in person. You've read everything that exists on Fisher, so you'll have to get her. Oh, you definitely have to, because she said that she has like letters from Bobby, and she was telling me about it, and she got the chance to talk to him about her chess and everything. So that's why I was like, oh, this is such a loving story, such an exciting story. And yeah, I think you would see a new face of Bobby Fischer that probably was not talked about as much. So yeah, she was trying to get a publisher to have her book published, and I'm gonna try to help her out if I can. So yeah. Anyways, I don't know how much I can say from what she told me, but all I can say is I'm so excited that I met someone as emotional and excited about life as I am. And yeah, that's it. That's all I wanted to say. Let's catch up with the game. Dylan, hey, how are you doing? Okay, so this a3 is quite nice. Personally, this is a line that I play myself. So when I was playing with the black pieces and someone would play b3 against me, I would typically go d5, e3, c5, knight f3, a6. And this is something I would play myself with the black pieces, and you're basically avoiding the, reversed Nimzo Indian, right? So you're playing the Queen's Indian, kind of. And basically, white is doing the same thing, but with a tempo up, right? Because you start with a3. But sometimes a3 could be a waste of time, or other times it could be helpful if you try to get additional space on the queen side with b4, bishop b2, or b3, bishop b2. It's going to give white some good ideas. So knight c6, knight c3. But this move, knight e7, I do not know exactly what was the idea, I gotta say. I'd rather go for maybe some d5 here, or c5, and try to transpose to some kind of Benoni style position where this move might not be that useful. White would rather keep the pawn in a2 or maybe a4. I think she did get everything. She has it all ready. I think she said she got introduction either by Bruce Pandolfini or Michael Rode. I'm not sure which one of them, but I'm sure that as soon as that book, will be out, I would love it. I already asked for a signed copy, so I always love to. I've become more passionate about learning about history. I'm not the best at that. When I was a kid, my dad would tell me stories, but I don't know, I wasn't that interested, and I regret that because it's harder. People see you once you reach a certain level, and they expect that you have all this knowledge, and sometimes you have to get in front of the camera like I am right now in front of you, and I need to tell you things. And of course I try to tell some of the things that I know, because I still know something. I wouldn't maybe have gotten where I am if I didn't know anything, obviously. But the history is something that I still have a lot to learn, and I'm always fascinated about stories, and it just gets me emotional. I'm too emotional. I should not be emotional. I wish I was less emotional. I cry every 5 seconds. But let's see. So this pawn structure is pretty good for white. Okay, so black is trying to get some kind of King's Indian, but Old Indian, but a lot of tempis down. I'm not sure. So e6, e5, the knight is in g6, the bishop will go to e7. Well, I should definitely go for d5 here. Definitely, yeah. The thing is, I'm not sure I like the knight here. The only thing that you can do, which is unpleasant, is to put the knight in f4, but this bishop is going to be a struggle. Only if black somehow manages to go bishop e7, h6, move the knight somewhere, and then go bishop g5 to trade that bishop. But I don't know for sure. Yeah, Edward Winter has a great website. Yeah, lots of stories there. You just need to have the time. You have to have the time to read those stories. But definitely, of course. And another person that knows so much about chess history is International Master John Donaldson. I think he's a book of knowledge about chess history and definitely knows a lot about Bobby too. I had the pleasure to ask him a few questions a few times, and yeah, he was great. He was definitely like wonderful. He doesn't. You need to make sure you approach him, and he would love to tell you these stories if you ever have the opportunity. You can do that. Okay, so what have we got here? H3, castle, bishop e3. Yeah, I love white setup, definitely. So I'll go for a long castle for white, and Shernaz did go for the long castle. The good thing about this situation is the fact that for black, now that b6 is played, c6 is not going to do much damage. b5 does not do usually much damage, so white can actually focus now on a kingside attack. Erwin Lamy has that much knowledge? Oh, I didn't know that. I did not know that. Cool. Okay, so knight. Ooh, bishop f1. Nice. Of course, you want to keep your bishop and you need to cover g2. Okay, f5. g3, knight h5. Yeah, you gotta move back. But was this move an option? Because if you take back, I don't know, I'm just asking, could I take, or am I being overly ambitious? Definitely overly ambitious, because I'm always so ambitious. I always want to get everything done, like right there, right now. It's not good. Not good. This will be fine for black because takes, rook takes f3. Good. A good position overall, but can we go for this move? Oh, definitely not. Definitely not. Is there a knight takes f2? Knight takes g6? Or simply takes? Yeah, this is not looking good. Okay, sorry. We're not doing that. So what are we doing here with white after knight takes h3? This knight is kind of trapped. Could I just move this knight somewhere? Could I go here? Just asking. Just a question. I got one question. Yeah. Yeah, white's position is slightly better. Even that is good. Definitely what I love about this position, and something to keep in mind in these positions, when black captures in e4, you want to capture back with a piece because you're blocking that pawn, and you're stopping black from pushing the e pawn. In some situations, black gives that pawn up just in order to be able to open up this diagonal and, you know, give this piece freedom to attack. But here I'm not sure. Yeah, I guess white is doing quite well. So knight h5 was played, and was this not an option? White wins a piece. Am I missing something? Like, uh-oh. Small miss here by Shernaz, because I think she would have won a piece had she taken there. Okay, bishop e2, f4. F4 is a nice find by Jayashri, because this forces the trades, and trades are good, and then she's got the outpost. So this is definitely a huge miss by Shernaz, not taking the piece. I mean, there's not so much you can do here, I think, and this is definitely, yeah, f4, very good choice. And bishop f1, okay, but the past two moves, white went bishop f1, bishop e2, now back bishop f1, it's not so good. And this knight, I'm telling you, this knight is a killer. It's a great piece on an outpost, and it will have some discovered ideas with knight h3 at some point. Maybe knight d5 too, not when the queen is here to recapture and give a check rook, but in some situations there will be a discovery, and suddenly black might be doing better. So now Shernaz needs to find some ways to sorry, bring up some attack, but I don't know what. I don't know what to do here. I'm not liking white's position. Like, in a few moves, everything went bad. No, not the right approach. Just a moment. I hear there's some small technical issue with chess.com's game, but we should be fine. Okay, so we went through the games. Oh no, we're not over. We didn't catch up with the game. So what happened here? These ladies have made quite a bit of moves. How's Regina? Regina is at home. I wish I could take her with me, because she's the queen. She would be the queen mascot of the tournament. Queen Regina. Regina, for those of you who don't know and don't follow my own stream, is my cat that I think is the most adorable thing ever. And I'm always so sad when I have to leave her home. But I'm thankful for having the right people taking care of her, and when I travel, and always thankful for that. But also thankful for the opportunities to do more chess streaming, because this is something I'm quite passionate about, and being able to be here and promoting women in chess is something that I try to do every day. So this is also very exciting. So in this position, knight takes e7 was played, which seems to have been a miss. Is this just something that white could do? But you'd be worried. I would be worried to leave my king so weak, actually, here. Let's go back. 95, 95. What did white miss in this position? It seems that the engine is acting wild. Oh, bishop e6. No. No. Oh, c5? I thought this was a thing, I was just gonna go for this, but apparently, material ain't mattering here. Because there'll be some bishop f6 attacks. I don't... c5, you think? Oh my god, that's the best. That's such an interesting move, because you're leaving your king kind of totally open, but you're going for the undermining the protection of the knight so they can't take, so then you get c6. Oh, nice. Then you get c6, c7, and march this pawn too. Oh, okay, c5 would have been nice. Yeah. I cannot believe that this move is not good. I mean, this is so natural in a way. But in chess, like in life, you should not be materialistic. Remember that. Go for, follow your heart, not your... Follow your heart. That's what I keep telling myself. Queen e8. Okay, let's not be materialistic. Let's go for c5. c5 is definitely a dominant move. We need to go for this. Okay, so Sherna's played here. So what happened? What have we got? Oh, she took the knight. No, we don't want to make that move. No, no, I think c5 works again. Does it? Is there a rook b8? I'm kind of getting scared here for... I think this this bar is messing up with us, you know? It's just messing up. It's trying to confuse me, so I'm not looking at the bar anymore. Ooh, I found the move. I found it. Yes. Oh, counterplay. Chess is a heartbreaking game. One wrong move, and the advantage can change. Did not rhyme. It's okay, I tried. Yeah, very sneaky, knight f3. But so maybe that's why she decided to take. Maybe with white you can make some prophylactic move here, like bishop e2, although I have the feeling that this knight could still move away and have some pressure. Or maybe we can even go f3 and make you go back to f1. What would be a nice move for white here in this position to try to maintain the advantage? Rook g1 I don't think does much. I thought it was c5, but... Okay, so bishop takes and c5. Actually, I like it. Okay. I didn't like it at first because I didn't see the continuation, but now I like it. Was it better for black to capture with the queen at least, to try to trade queens here, or do we have something good? I think we go for the trade. We're definitely going for the trade. No, these pawns probably are just... Oh, wait. Not yet, because there's bishop e5. I almost missed this. But since I missed it, I might as well just show it to you. So black has definitely simple chances here to equalize the position. So don't go for c5 too soon. But you don't need it. You don't need it. You just need to make sure you're bringing your next... King b4. Yeah, let's just do that. let's just invent a new move and go for king b4. The king march. No, but I love your idea. Yeah, king b2 and stuff. You definitely need to get this rook into the game. I like rook d1 as well as a possible option. I don't want to allow black to double up on the file though. So king b2 is nice because you want to go rook a1 if they try something, and you want to get this bishop out. Maybe bishop d3, bishop e2, or maybe like you said, king b3. But I definitely like king b2 to have rook a1 if you attempt a doubling. I'm gonna trade a pair of rooks, then get this bishop out. Maybe h4, not h4, bring the rook, and then you'll start marching these pawns. I mean, you're technically playing with... It's just an extra pawn, but it looks like two because they are connected and hard to block. So actually, she... the queen trade, I guess, wouldn't have really made a huge... Sorry. That huge of a difference. Was there any other idea that black could have done after bishop takes e5? They could have just kind of maybe just what was played in the game. Do we see anything else, any other in-between move that black could do here? Because technically what is White's next move? Because if you move the bishop, I'm threatening to take an e4, which is a check rook. So maybe I don't need to take the bishop. Maybe I have some fancy idea like this. Well, definitely not that, but something like that. Something in terms of forcing moves. What would be a nice forcing move here? Do we have one? No, I don't see anything, which is sad. It's very sad. Yeah, you kind of have to take. Okay, so she took c5. Okay, so White has to just be careful about some rook a2, bishop a2, bishop c4. Very nice approach, trading an active piece. Makes sense, okay. Uh-oh. No. Rook b4 check. Rook b4 check. No, White is winning here. I'm not rooting for anyone. Like, I know Shernaz is kind of like, you know, emotional, but I'm not trying to root for anyone specifically because I'm the commentator. I need to try to be, how's it called? Can't think of the word. This is terrible. Objective, objective and not objective. Impartial was the word I was looking for. Yes. Yeah, see, this is the problem when you speak too many languages is that you remember the word in some other language, and then luckily Romanian is a Latin language, and I don't know why I said that. I think impartial is possibly a Latin word. Someone can do the research and let me know, because in Romanian is similar, so I thought of it in Romanian, and that's. I always do that. Some of you who are in the chat and speak other languages, chess is a universal language, right, by itself. But I'm curious if you do speak other languages, not chess, okay, just languages. What is your way of remembering words? Like, if you remember it in another language, do you use that to figure out how you say it in English or something? Or what is your way? Very legal word. Wait, what? Oh, every legal word. Oh my god, I can't read anymore. Yes, every legal word is Latin. It's not really, no, it's not. But a lot of words have, you know, Latin background. But no, like in a lot of English words are Germanic, right? So anyways. I feel bad about this blunder. Rook b4, and it was found! It was found by Jashre! Oh my goodness! So the problem is if you go to a1, bam! There's mate! Is mating 2. So you have to go to c4, but if you to c2, but if you go to c2, then this bishop is lost, and then you gotta be careful when you move the. Oh no, this is gonna be a tough loss for Shernaz because she lost the queen. Okay. So Jashre decided not to take the queen here for some reason, although I think this will lead to some mate very soon after this. But she ended up going rook takes c4. Okay, but she's winning. Oh my goodness, this is a tough loss for White after having such a nice game. I feel for Shernaz, but kudos to Jashre for being able to find rook b4, and she did it quite. Actually, I don't know how much time she spent for that. Oi, oi, oi. Sad. This is a sad kind of blunder. Like, heartbreaking blunder, not sad. Heartbreaking blunder. But I'm impartial. I mean, we see, we learn from it, and we move on. Okay. Let us go back to board 1. I caught up with everything. We're back to the beginning. What do we have here? We stopped around this moment when we were looking at the game, and I suggested some kingside attack ideas. Knight e2 was definitely part of the plan. c3, pushing this knight away. And let's see how Julia decided to proceed here. She ended up going knight takes d4. Oh, also, I learn new things. See, that's why it's so great to go to tournaments. Hint, hint, to someone who's watching. But when you are at the tournament as a commentator, if you have the chance to actually stay and chat with the players, you're learning different things that they do. And that's why I can bring you even more exciting stories. Whereas if I weren't at the tournament like it happened in the previous commentary that I did, I wasn't able to bring you as many stories. Sad. Anyways, I learned that Julia will be writing the recap for this tournament, so be sure to check out Chess Live, the Chess Live article that she will be writing about this tournament. I believe I saw her interview a few of the players, and she also interviewed the executive director and I think Maureen, the organizer. And it's going to be very exciting to see her perspective on how the tournament went and everything. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully you are as well. Don't be sure to check out Chess Live and Chess Live Online stories about the tournament, and definitely, you know, stay close here because this is where you'll always find me. Well, not always, sometimes. So Julia decided to make this trade, which is nice. Now pawn takes, interesting. So Angelina decided not to capture with the bishop. I like bishop takes. I don't know why. Oh, I know why. When I was a kid, I played in a different pawn structure. It was a c4 pawn structure, but I got these double pawns, and I was trying to go for d5 later on and get rid of them. But the thing is that my opponent played e5, I remember, or took once and then played e5. It was a Botvinnik pawn structure. And then I stayed with those double d pawns, and I lost a painful game. And I think my opponent wasn't even that strong. And it ended up losing. So that's why I'm not the biggest fan of this pawn structure. Of course it exists, it's not a mistake or anything. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say it's a mistake, of course. But what I'm trying to say is that you can't go for d5. So those pawns will be blocked, the position will be blocked. Now what you have to do with black is find your way to put pressure on the c file. And I don't know how easy it will be. I know the dark square bishop will have some, the light square bishop, sorry. Black's light square bishop will have some issues. I've seen some games like this, but I believe white's plans are maybe easier. Maybe you don't need to go, I mean, you definitely don't go d5. Maybe f5 is the move that you have to play, but I'm just not a fan of this. But, you know, Angelina knows what she's doing, I'm sure. So she went for f5, knight g3, queen c7. Okay, typical development moves. Bishop d2, queen b6, and now rook b1 has to protect the b2 pawn. Okay, so you know that f5 was a super wise decision. Yeah, so definitely not d5. Maybe I'll learn a new pawn structure myself, and maybe you guys will share some of your knowledge. That's why we're here, right? To learn and enjoy, get better. So bishop d7, and she will prep her doubling the rooks on the c file. I don't know how much bishop a5 really does, because I feel it's just okay. You attack the queen, and I go back. You like black? You probably have had this position. Yeah, if you're a Sicilian player, of course, you've had these pawn structures. You see, I need to play more openings. That's why I'm gonna hire someone to teach me more stuff that I don't know. That way I'll be super knowledgeable, and it will help my training, and then I can give them credit. That's the plan. That is the plan. Until then, it's a secret. Big secret. I'm trying to think about a plan for white. I'm not a huge fan of this knight anymore, and I want to go g4. I wish I could just do this, you know? I don't even know if knight g3 was the best placement of the knight in this position. Was it really necessary? I mean, she was trying to keep... Yeah, see? Sorry, I'm going back and forth. I'm trying... Draw on board 5 already? Oh, let's catch up with that game and we'll be back. How is this board only 4 moves? Let me send a message and ask. Let me send a message and ask. Buy Opening Encyclopedia by ChessBase and read all the surveys. They're pretty comprehensive. Opening Encyclopedia, and see I said it correctly because usually I say... Did I say it correctly? Pretty sure I said it correctly. I usually don't say long words correctly. Opening Encyclopedia is published by Chess Informant, to my knowledge. To my knowledge, I got a... Looks like I got some attack. Let's hope no attack is happening. Okay, what are we talking about? Back to the software version. Close enough. The software version is also published by Chess Informant. Listen, I know my stuff. You can catch me with the history. You will be able to catch me with the history, chess lover. Let's see, where we did we stay here? What, did they agree on a draw? They did? What? What? We were so excited about the fighting attack and everything. So maybe Alexei was not feeling comfortable with her position and she decided to offer a draw. I can always find out more information later. Unfortunately, I won't be doing interviews on stream. I thought it was too complicated to do that. So I will not be doing interviews on stream, but I'll try to get extra stuff. Be sure to follow US Chess. Well, I should put my social media too. Follow US Chess and Sabina's social media, Instagram, because I'm not taking over social media, US Chess social media, but I am taking over Twitch, of course. But I will be posting probably a bunch more stuff on my own social media account. Just search for @SabinaFoysor on Instagram, and check out my stories because I might try to post additional stuff. I mean, mostly I want to do more things for US Chess because I think it's really wonderful that, you know, their mission statement and everything they try to do to continue empowering people to play chess. And I just I want to make sure that I continue supporting by creating as much content as I can when I can. But if there's some snippets of conversations or things, I might post it on my own social media account. So please follow me if you want. Stay notified with things that I post. And stories about my cat. That's usually what I post. Hopefully cute stuff. Because that's what life is all about. Cute stuff. Okay, chess lover, okay. Sure. Okay, we'll pretend like, but Chess Informant also publishes it. Trying to get me here to make mistakes. Okay, so good result to get started in this tournament, I think, specifically for Carla. I know she was a bit nervous, so now at least, you know, she won't be too nervous to talk to me and can hear her story. Okay. I would have played on, of course, you know me. Fighting, I don't accept a draw, ever. Maybe with my family, yeah, those draws were existing, so, you know, those draws were happening, but other than that, it's tough to have a friend in the chess world. What else has happened here? Do we still have moves in this game? Because Shernaz's blunder with queen takes e5 was heartbreaking in a way because she was winning, but that's, you know, great, would be a great result for Jayashri to win this game here. So, okay, there's way too much material down, unfortunately, so this game will be over soon. I think it's mate. Announcing mate in 2 according to the engine. Even I saw it. You know, it was nice in those times where people were announcing mates in 2. But what a fighting game, don't you guys think? This was definitely a super fighting game. You know, kind of an unusual opening, starting with a3. Move 3 to avoid the Nimzo, and then an interesting getting late on the East Coast. Oh, so you'll have to leave us? Well, certainly hope you'll be joining us tomorrow. The round starts, next round starts at 2. Sorry, no, wait. 11. Let me double check. I should know this, but it's been a long day. It's been a long day. I've been up early. And I tried to get a few things in. So I appreciate your patience with me checking everything. So tomorrow's round will be at 11 a.m. This is Mountain Time, I think. Mountain Time. So 11, that's 1 p.m. Eastern Time. So I would love to see you back. I'm not done yet here, but for those of you who have to leave, I hope I'll see you tomorrow for round 2 at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, and then 6 p.m. Eastern Time for round 3. And on Sunday, the rounds will be at 12 p.m. Eastern Time and 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Yeah, come here and support your favorites and support me and be here, because the more you come, the more you chat, the more content we can create, and don't forget to follow US Chess, of course, as usual. Greatly appreciated. Oh, you're trying to broaden my horizons. Thanks. Very kind of you. Highly appreciate it. Okay, so this was a very well played game by White in a way, just trying to get more space and development and, you know, castle. All the principles were very well respected by White. Black has tried to improve the position by infiltrating in this f4 outpost. That's quite typical that you want to infiltrate with in King's Indian style positions. And White had a huge opportunity here in this position. Instead of bishop e2, could have captured in f5 followed by g4, which would create a fork, and White would win at least, you know, a pawn. Now, if you go back, we can still go for g4, I think. And this knight will have to go, and then White just has an extra pawn. This knight goes to e4. The bishop is restricted. This knight is very bad. Black would have a very difficult position to deal with. But unfortunately, White missed the opportunity. Fortunately for her, Shernaz, she played the move bishop e2 in this position, which allowed Jayashri to play f4, a very important move here, because this really strengthens Black's position and actually gives her some counterplay. This bishop is trapped right now in e3, so you have to make the trade, allowing Black to create this great outpost on f4. After this outpost is created and the knight is placed there, it's a bit difficult for White to actually build up the attack further. Even if you have the g file open with the two knights protecting each other, it's very hard to actually open up the position. So, you know, going through the game, a few moves that White played was trying to regroup a bit, but no matter how much you regroup, it's going to be difficult to really get this knight away. And a few moves later, actually, after b5, knight takes f4 was played. I think we might have missed this opportunity, but I think white had the opportunity to maybe take in c6 and take in b5. A win a pawn, but Shernaz decided to go for this move, knight takes f4, which in a way, yes, you are managing to make a trade, but it helps black quite a lot. This is a great idea for black to try to open up the long diagonal and get the bishop in f6 and just kind of free up some space. That's why this trade was not good. Had black captured with the knight in f4, white would still have a very good position. Of course, this is possible once again. Pawn takes, bishop takes, and takes in b5. But after e takes f4, the white's position is not as dominant anymore. Maybe there was some improvement here that black would have played, which I think was capture. Queen takes, or maybe not queen takes because it allows on bishop g5 ideas. Maybe pawn takes, and then black would capture here. Black's position is slightly more comfortable. But in the game, Jeshret went for bishop c6, and it was a really up and down game with chances on both sides really throughout the game. Bishop d4, very good, escaping with the bishop from the attack. And Jeshret tried to create her counter chances with an attack on the queen side. However, after these trades, ace 3, we're making a few more moves where white makes sure that her king is protected and then tries to create some space on the queen side. And in this position, white played a move that I wasn't quite sure about, took that bishop. I think we were discussing that the best move here was definitely not bishop b6. Bishop b6 was too materialistic, and I said, no, we're not going for that. This wasn't it. No, c5, my bad. c5, this would have been a great move for white, undermining the protection of the knight. And then because you cannot take, because you lose the knight, white has the opportunity to push c6, gain a lot of space on the queen side, and just win the game. Shernaz went for knight takes e7, which gave black a few more chances because that bishop wasn't doing much. So now the bishop is gone, and you're trading a dominant and strong knight in the center for a bishop that doesn't do so much. You could at least wait for the bishop to go to f6 before making that trade. But once that trade happened and bishop e5, pawn takes, white is still much better. White has definitely, an extra pawn. That's the obvious part. A weak king, but these pawns are quite strong. You just need to find the right way to push them forward. So c5, very strong move because, these trades don't lead to much. We can recapture. We're keeping the b file closed. Our king will be safe. And now after bishop e6, bishop c4, another good move, trading an active piece. And after rook a4, which was a mistake from black's side, unfortunately, Shernaz made a huge blunder, after which the game is over. She went for the move queen takes e5. Instead of that, had she played, what did we say here? Oh, I don't know if we said anything. I was thinking trade, maybe, and then try to push these pawns forward, but maybe there's rook a8. This is an option that I was thinking about, but I feel there's something more to this position, maybe even queen b3? Queen b3 could be a move. The idea would be similar to queen takes e5, attack the rook and attack the bishop. So, now if you take rook takes e4, rook takes, eventually you'll capture. The more pieces we trade, the better it is for white. With these protected pass pawns, any endgame should be definitely going on white's favor. But unfortunately, Shernaz went for the wrong kind of pressure. She took in e5, missing this great move for black. If you're going to watch this later, black to move and win in this position. Can you find it? And the move is rook to b4. A very strong intermediate move that forces white to move this king somewhere. The king went to c2, but if the king would have gone to a1, of course, we have this easy mate in 2. The king went to c2, and unfortunately, there's no more save for white. Black had probably an even faster way to win, but after king e2, because where else are you gonna go if you go king e1? You will allow the rook take c1. So king e2, and now bishop g4 seals the deal as the queen is won and black is on her way to win the game. I believe at this point, okay, black is still thinking what's the fastest way to mate. We got a mate into here. What is it? Can you guys find it? That is the question. What's the fastest mate that you can find? I'll go for this. I think this is the simplest way. Queen f4, followed by queen h4. I wish rook h6 would work. Is mate in 2? No, rook h6 is not mate in 2. It's mate in 3. It will be mate, but it's not in 2, right? What do you want to do? This? No. Wait, which mate do you want to go for? Queen f4, not queen f. You still have to go for queen g5 or something, and then mate. Or queen f4. Yeah, there are a few ways, and that was definitely a very enterprising game with chances for both sides, ups and down, and kind of heartbreaking for one player, then heartbreaking for the other, back and forth. But I think that's the cool thing about chess. We can see a lot of creative ideas, lots of tactics, and I think that's why I love doing commentary. It's mate to 3, no worries, all cool. All right, so this game will be over. This game was drawn. We really have no more moves, and I didn't get a text here, so this must be it. This must be the current position of this game. Okay. All right, we'll catch up with that. Also, this game doesn't have many moves. Very interesting. Okay, but we have quite a bit more moves in on board 1 and on board 2, so let's catch up with these. I mentioned that I did not think... Can you guys hear the noise, the background noise? I was just wondering. Yeah, I like rook h6. Anytime I can make a sacrifice, sure, I would go for it. You know me and my queen sacrifices. It's like, it's so funny. I was talking to my dad not long ago, and I don't know why, out of nowhere, he just created this Lichess study, and he shared it with me, and he... So I was like, what is this about? And he said, well, these are my most famous, the queen sacrifices that I had in my career. And I was thinking, Dad, do you feel that you need to prove something to me, or what is this all about? But I gotta say, his queen sacrifices were not as exciting as mine. And I know I'm not being modest when I say that, but it's okay. It's okay. Mine will stay in the history. At least I did one good thing in this life. At least I had a nice queen sacrifice that will be always remembered, and very, very emotional for sure. So what happened in this game? So h4 was Julia's idea here. She wants to go for h5. One moment. You don't hear it? Okay, thank goodness. Yeah, I asked someone to bring me a mic because mine was too heavy, and this mic is really good, so I'm definitely gonna look into getting one of these when I go back home to stream, because it's also very light. And you guys are saying that you hear me okay, and I don't have any filter on it, so I think it's worth it. If you guys hear me okay. So h4 is not a very liked move by the engine. I can't tell you why, and we're not gonna emphasize on it. I was thinking I really want to play c3. I really want to play this move, but I don't think it's good. But I really want to play it. Because I can't. I'm too passive. I don't like passivity here for white. I feel that I want some activity. But h4. h4, rook c8, h5. Well, she's trying to create some chances for herself. But again, I'm not... you know what? Maybe bishop a5 was a nice kind of approach. Now I understand it. See, sometimes you gotta look backwards to understand, you know what they say about life. You understand it backwards, but you gotta live it forward, unfortunately. How awesome would it be if you could go backwards and not have some miscommunications with people or win a game, right? Because we're talking about chess. We're here for chess. Like, win some game and not have that nightmare that you missed a study-like position. And I don't know, so many chess dreams, oftentimes that I've had. Hi, Chessful. How are you doing? Great to see you. Okay, so h4 plan, pretty cool. Rook c8, h5. So I was saying about that and I lost my train of thought. Goodness. Basically what she did is she attracted black to put the queen on the c file, and with the queen here, you don't really have much pressure. So that's something that she did with the move bishop a5. So now a3 makes total sense, but I still want that c-pawn push. You know why? Because I really want this bishop to do something, and right now it's not. And even if you take in g6, you're not doing much. So either that, or I want this knight to move. Okay, you're gonna think, you're not gonna like my move, but bear with me for a second. I want to go knight h1, knight f2, or knight h1. No. I want to go knight h1, and then I want to go queen h4, and then I want to go g4. And if I do that, I will be quite happy. Because I get to play g4, my favorite move of all time. Yeah. Yeah, Angelina, definitely very strong. Former US women's champion 3 times, I think. Part of the US Olympic team. And she's a professor. I think she has a PhD in, I'm not sure exactly. I know she's a professor. What do you guys think about my plan? I want to hear your thoughts. I want to read your minds. Should I do mind reading? I wish I could do mind reading. We'll be back to this game and see. I love it that the players are spending time. Why do I love it? Because I'll enter time trouble at some point and it'll be even more exciting to do. You don't see a different plan? Oh, okay. All right, thanks. I mean, yeah, I guess that's fine. I'll take. I'm happy with that with that answer. Okay. This was that game that I told you I really like white's position because the bishop, the dark square bishop, which is black's good bishop, was given up for the knight. This was some kind of a Dutch / Stonewall thing. Chess.com apparently names it Queen's Pawn Opening Keres Transpositional Variation. I don't know what that is, but this is how the game went. For those of you who missed the start of the stream. So bishop b4, knight c3, castle, and knight h3. And d5, very typical. And then this was a moment that I mentioned to Everyone, this was not a move that I would have played. I tell the story about my sister who was telling me, Sabina, you're giving your bishops too easily. You got to take care of your bishops. Bishops are better than the knights. I can't believe you don't know that. You're a positional player. How dare you not know this? It's okay. My sisters always had a way to encourage me. Tough love. Tough love is what I would call my sister's love for me. Knight e4, queen c2, c6, knight f4, and then oh, what? Oh, actually that's not a bad. Interesting. Interesting choice by white. So I hadn't seen this. What? No. So listen, I got stopped there for a second. I panicked for a second because I saw a bishop being given for the knight right back, and I was wondering why that happened. But obviously, black is trying to get white to make a decision. So there's pressure on the pawn in c4. You can't protect it, so you need to decide. Are you going to go for c5? Are you going to go for c takes d5? Actually, do we take back like this? I think so. C takes could work too. Usually it's that pawn that takes, but I guess C pawn works too. I probably would take like this to open the file. I mean, I would take, actually. I don't think it's that bad, but I think white wanted to get back to remain with the pawn in e6. As long as that pawn is there, black restricts on space. Hi there, machine savage. East Side Flyer! Hi! How are you doing? I sent you a message and I never heard back. I hope everything is good with you and you're good, and always great thoughts about you. I hope I get to see you again soon. I did not expect you would stop by, so great to see you here. So bishop takes d6 is a very interesting choice. Very interesting. But I guess I like it. I mean, yeah, choose the space or not space. I'm not sure. Bishop takes d6, queen takes d6. Oh, c5. No. Why didn't she play c5 if she wanted? Ah, she didn't want to close her bishop. I see. No, I'd rather trade these pawns. I really would rather trade it because, okay, there's not so much that happens on the file. I think, at least. Could you just... I'm good. I'll be making some live appearances. I hope so one day. I don't know. For now, I'm taking over US chess stream. Nobody has control. Sabina has taken control. No, don't worry. They're supervised. You can be sure they're supervised. I need to be mindful. I need to be very mindful. But no, I'm very excited to be here, and it's a great opportunity to continue, like I keep saying, supporting chess in the US, supporting women chess particularly. It's very exciting that this tournament started being organized last year, and this year's was put together quite a bit late, and it's definitely thanks to David and Maureen Grimond, who have also gotten me here. So yeah, very exciting. All right, looks like we have a player in the chat. Hi, Alexei. Great to see you here. What happened in your game? Maybe you can share some stuff in the chat of why you offered the draw in that position. We were just looking at your game earlier, and I really appreciate all of you guys being here, by the way. I got the chance to interview Alexei earlier, and again, those interviews you'll be able to see later on US Chess YouTube page. So don't forget to follow US Chess on the various social media accounts. There's a command for social media. Let's see, I created it. Let's see how decent I did. Come on, comment. What? Is it not working? Someone will not be happy if it's not working. No, it should. Oh, socials. My bad. My bad. I made a mistake. Okay, there are all the links. Feel free to follow US Chess and read more about the different things going on the website, of course, but then there's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, known as X, and YouTube. And personally, I'm also doing YouTube. I'm sending you to that link since more of you are here. It's very exciting. The second link that shows up in my by Streamlabs is a link where you can follow the 2 podcasts that I did so far, podcast/class in session, where I interviewed the very famous and wonderful international master Alice Lee, and I also interviewed women's international master Luciana Morales, and I have a couple of other lined up players that I want to talk about, and I will try to interview more players who are not only passionate about chess, but also pretty good in maybe other sports. So I don't want to give too much detail about who the next guest is. I want to make sure we get her first to do the recording, but feel free to subscribe to that channel and to US Chess, but I mean just the podcast link so that you can stay up to date to when those videos will come out. And yeah, let us know how we're doing, particularly me, because I'm conducting the interviews. And if you have particular people that you'd like to see there showcased, other than just the strong top female players that we often hear about, I think there's a lot of other women who do a lot in chess, and I would love to to share their stories with you. Okay, so let's see what else I missed. Am I from Canada? US Chess from Canada? You mean me personally or US Chess? A bit confused. US Chess is United States Chess Federation, to which I sound like a Canadian? Wow, this is the first time I've been told that. Cool. Is it because I have some French accent a bit? This is interesting. Interesting. Let's get back to the game. And Alexei, if you're still in the chat, would love to hear some of your thoughts if you'd like. But going back to the game, so I think here I would have liked maybe, I'm not sure, maybe takes here now? And then should we go for c4? I don't know why I took the queen. No, it was a modern chess lover. Remember Alexei's game? It looked like a Benoni, but there was no pawn in c4. It was that h3, g4. This is what I would suggest to do here with white, because you're putting pressure in the center, and if you're gonna trade that piece, you might as well just put pressure here. And the knight in f4 is very good. I would definitely ensure it with h4. And I think white would have very good position because of the development. Black is struggling with the development. You can't develop this knight easily. The f5 pawn is weak. Okay, so let's proceed and see how the game continued. So c5. This is also an idea that I've seen in the past. Because you have the double pawns, you can afford to do this. So when the queen goes, there will be a c4 coming in next. But here you're not actually weakening anything, so I'm not quite sure if white wants to do this soon. Because when you take, then there'll be, you know, a capture back like that. Okay, so let's see how the game went. The reason I wasn't so worried about giving the bishop back is because I thought this knight can come back to e5. But black can still trade it, but then white will stay with a very nice bishop versus that bishop. So, let's see how the game proceeded. Ooh, f4. But if you block the position too much, how are you gonna win? Maybe Olga is trying to follow into Capablanca's footsteps, where he blocked the position quite a bit and then was able to win on the queen side. The very famous, my favorite game of all. There's no stream where I go without mentioning it. Those of you who follow me, you should know what game I'm talking about. Capablanca Treball, the V shape, the V pawn shaped game, best game of all time for me. But okay, this is not exactly the same thing. The engine doesn't like f4. Okay, I don't think it's that bad though. It's stopping a5. Was there something else? Wait, was this an option? I like this move actually here. This move stops indirectly e5 because we're putting pressure in d5, right? So if you go e5, we just take. So I would have liked c4. C4. Did I say c5? I meant c4 in this position. And yeah, if you manage to take here, then nothing's gonna bother you to placing the knight in e5 at some point. But okay, let's see. Let's catch up with the game. b6. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know in the chat. Rook c8, knight f2. See, here's the thing, like, you know, if I give you this position and I go back to, say, maybe this moment. So compare this position, okay, to the position we had here after, hopefully I didn't move anything, after the, like, maybe around here, right? If you compare the two positions, what do you notice? Black was behind in development. Now they're totally fully developed. The two rooks are connected, right? And has some plans to break open the position with c5. If that happens, then e5 might be an option too at some point, maybe. But, you know, c5 is a huge deal because with the rook on c8 and then c5, capture here, or I'm not liking this for white anymore. In rook e1, why did she play rook e1? I feel that maybe this rook belongs on the c file or b file, maybe one of these files. Here, maybe to try some c4 at some point. Maybe knight b4 could be an interesting idea for white. Because you can't do something like this, right? I think this pawn hangs. You hang the pawn, I mean, that's what I meant. So maybe knight b4 here, maybe a5, and but white, you know, with this f4, you kind of, it's too committal. It's a bit too committal of a move because, you know, you also give up this square and you don't have e4 as a break. I mean, typically white uses these ideas with f3, e4 and opens up the diagonal for the bishop, and once the bishop goes to e4, then you can focus on some attacks on the king side, so that's definitely something nice. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what. Also, this trade is definitely helping black, right? Open up the rook. So in a few moves, I think Olga kind of rushed, and now she's also a bit lower on time. So what is going on here? Queen b2, rook a8. Bishop takes d3 with e d3. That's why you thought white played here? Or white can do that anytime. Ah, just to have the rook on e1. Oh, you mean you think white made the wishful thinking move? No, 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 no. I don't think so. I mean, maybe, but it's hard for me to say that because, you know, rook e1, maybe that was the reason, but because she probably thought this is the bad bishop, so black will consider giving up the bishop for the knight and open up the position. I see what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. It makes sense, but okay, that could be a reason. That could be one reason why she did it. But I'm not, it has no purpose. It's not, the problem is sometimes when you have a good position and suddenly you make wrong decisions, you're not sure what to do, and you make wrong decisions, and you're getting into a position that you lose the advantage. There's a psychological thing that happens in someone's mind that they try to make some simple moves that would make their opponent make a mistake. I've done that in the past. It doesn't go quite well, unfortunately. But let's see. I don't like White's position right now, definitely. But let's catch up. A5 is a nice move to try to get rid of the weakness. So she has done a good job from a positional standpoint of keeping all the pawns on dark square, but this bishop is good here. I mean, it's a bad bishop, but it's on a good diagonal. That's what I always learned, you know? You always need to try to activate your pieces, make sure you give them a purpose. And if that bishop somehow manages, at some point, obviously not right now, but if that bishop manages to somehow get here, we'll be happy if we can trade it, you know, and black will be definitely fine. So, okay, quite a balanced position. Remains to be seen what's going on here. What other game can we catch up with? Still not many moves here, but I'm so excited for those of you who missed this, okay? I need to go back to the first move because this is so exciting for me. I mean, I didn't know what to expect when I was, you know, invited to come here, and then I asked US Chess if I could stream on the official channel. It was like exciting to have the opportunity to comment on, you know, past generation. Well, not past. Can I say past? Just a trailblazers of women in chess, and to see the preparations that went into their games, because maybe they're not playing as much maybe anymore, but they come with very exciting. I mean, nobody would expect to prepare, right, to play h4 first move. And I know Natasha, she seemed very chill and relaxed today earlier when I saw her. Beatrice also, very famous and wonderful, both of them. And now they play serious chess, but with some spice, right? Because h4 first move. Why not? Thank you, Alexei. Great to be here. So, all right, so e6, d4. And we had this interesting position where, oh, my arrows are still there. Interesting. So I was just showing earlier that black typically plays c5 and tries to get more space, but Beatrice decided to go for knight c6, a move that typically you want to avoid because you're not giving yourself much space. But also white doesn't have c4, so it might be fine. Oh, this is new. I did not see this move. So is Natasha thinking of going back to c4, to playing c4? Very interesting. So they're playing a mind game here, I feel like. I didn't like knight f3 as much personally. I mean, I saw it had some ideas, but I'm not sure if I liked it the most. To be played, actually, now I'm seeing a different kind of idea. Might be too much. Could this have been played with e4 ideas? No, but black wants here. Black wants to play e5. That's why knight c6 is a good choice. It's kind of like, you know, let's attack the center. And this was the move that I would be thinking about, but maybe Natasha didn't want knight e4 or something to be played, or maybe just bishop d6 followed by e5. You can't really stop it. So by playing knight d2 f3, because this knight is there, you know, now if you go bishop d6, what is the difference actually? Bishop g5? Maybe bishop g5. But it was not played, so after knight df3, sorry, I got a message, just making sure that the live is all good and everything. Okay, so let's see. Bishop d7, a3, knight e4. Okay, I love that. Knight back to d2. You're not gonna stay there for too long. You're not gonna stay there. You know, when I saw 92, I was thinking, how great would it be if if we would have some cute mate like that. Not that I want it for you, not that I want, you know, I'm not that I'm trying to say that I want that to happen. Don't misunderstand me. Just when you see the position like this, it seems a bit unnatural because White's been moving this knight a bit too many times back and forth. So you kind of expect that something could go wrong, but it won't because we're trying to trade and develop our pieces. So knight d6, knight b3. And you will ask me, but why is it okay for black to move the same piece more than once and not be punished for it? And the answer is the position is closed. There's no tension. There's no pawns that are about to be traded with each other. And that is the reason why this is fine. What? No. What am I missing, guys? Wait, what am I missing? Okay, I should have. Okay, I don't understand. There's no way knight 64 was played. You guys agree, right? There's not, well, there's nothing here if we take, right? Okay, I'm gonna try to ask for a picture of the position from the TD. We'll see if I can get it. Because I'm shocked. Obviously, I could get the live feed, but this is 15 minutes delay. I don't want to mess with that. I'm sorry, I do not understand this sacrifice. So if knight takes is no. Okay, I got a picture of the position. Oh, that knight that knight never moves c6. Okay, their position is way different. Okay. So we got I'm gonna come back. No, it's fine, Alexei. No worries, no worries. Appreciate you. No. All is good. All is good. We'll. No, there's no way this was played. There's some transmission error. Okay, we'll get back to this game. We'll get back to it. Is chess.com messing with me? Because this game hasn't been touched in a while. We know about Alexei. So, Alexei, could you please tell us why did you decide to offer a draw in this position, maybe? Maybe c5 was played. Maybe c5 was played. I could get the live feed. I'm just worried that chess.com is gonna sign me out if I actually log in on another device. So let's see. Let's see. Let's pray that let's pray that I won't be signed out. I'm still here. Okay. So I am going to check the live feed. I should have done that earlier, but I didn't want to get influenced in checking ahead what happened. Okay. All right. So I got this, and I'm gonna check. Oops. I'm gonna check the live feed. Give me a moment, please. What? Oh my god, that game's totally wrong. I'm telling you, chess.com is messing with me. Okay, well, it was my first stream by myself on US Chess page. Of course, something like that would happen. Of course, someone's gonna clip it and post it or something. Oh my god, what were we looking at? This is crazy. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. This is way too funny. You guys will not believe what kind of opening this was. Um, so it was not 1h4. Okay, Sabrina, chill. Chill. Okay. It was a French, guys. But someone definitely needs to clip this because that was way too crazy. This was, okay. Yeah, wow. Okay. I feel embarrassed about this situation, but hey, so, if Natasha or Beatrice will see this game, at least they will have learned something new about 1h4 because... Okay, let's refresh. Let's refresh because I know what's going on here. Yeah, we had to refresh. Apologize. Let's catch up. Yeah. Most embarrassing moment of 2024, most embarrassing moment happened when chess.com decided to troll you and show you that h4 was played first move. Let's now do the commentary to the actual game, which was played between Natasha Christensen and Beatrice Maranello. And it was a French, my dear friends. It was a French. I see no one saying anything. That's great. You don't want me to feel too bad. I appreciate it. Okay, so we had a French Towers variation. c3, knight c6, knight e2. I was wondering, like, it was too suspicious for all that to happen. How did that happen? I'm serious. This is... Did I fix it? Yeah. Okay. Okay, it's fine. We learned a new opening, okay? I learned a new idea, so now I'm gonna ask, my friend who's watching the stream, I think, to look into h4, because I feel like I want to play h4 first move in my next tournament. It's gonna happen. It's not gonna be a drill or anything. It's gonna happen. So, we're gonna get some analysis and everything ready. This is a line I used to play myself as black. And I believe, okay, I'm not 100% sure. There are quite a bit of chessable courses out there. And I do not know if it is in his course or not, but a very famous chessable author, who's also the marketing and communication manager of US Chess, National Master Brian Tillis, has a course on chessable on the French. I don't know if this particular line, but if you are here, feel free to let me know. Highly recommend checking out his courses. Knight of 6, castle. Yep, I used to play this line with black. Knight of 3, queen c7. I think this is still quite a bit of theory. Knight g3. Black basically is trying to play f6 fast because there's a bishop in d3. Because of this bishop, black is struggling with the castle. You cannot castle because your h7, you're gonna fall for some sacrifices. So you need to make sure you get your knight right back to f6 to cover h7, and f6 is usually the way to go. So you're going for that. And then at some point, I remember when I was playing this, there's some ideas with e5, and another idea that I always loved when it was possible is after you castle with black In some situations, you can move this knight and actually have an exchange sacrifice. Those are always gorgeous if you can do them, because it gives you extra space. As for the bishop in c8, which is the weakness of players playing the French, that bishop has the opportunity to be brought into game via e8, d7, e8, and then brought to g6 or h5 in some situations. And with the f file opened, black gets the chance to put pressure in f3. So what has happened here? Rook c1, bishop e8. Yeah, very typical, just following the plan. And black decided to take in g3. Why did Beatrice decide to take in g3? I wouldn't give that bishop just yet. Let's see what her plan was, and I'll get back to... she wanted bishop h5. Okay. Now I understand. Okay, it makes sense. You want to get rid of that bishop, but do you really want to give up your dark square bishop already here? What are some ideas for white? Well, maybe some b4, maybe rook e1, queen e2, knight e5. Well, at some point, he'd put pressure on e6. Do we want to take in g3? Actually, what do you think about this kind of idea? No. Maybe not. Not yet. Maybe that's what you have to do with black. I mean, originally I was thinking bishop g6 and try to trade that bishop. And I have to admit, I cannot really evaluate this position that well for black. How weak are these pawns is my question. Because if you cannot get to reach them with white, then you might be fine with black to do that, because maybe later you can go some knight h5 and trade at knight. I don't know why I feel I would love for black to keep the bishop here, because it does control the center, and that would give black some really nice idea. But bishop takes g3, takes bishop h5. Well, e6 is weak. Do you think white could have played queen e1? The point is, if you take, we take here intermediate move, do something, and then we take back. So white will have a slightly better position. Bishop h5. Yeah, I think this is a nicer approach. Actually, this is what black wants. This is, you know, the main thing, to get rid of the bishop from this diagonal. So if the bishop goes back to e2, you know, then black will have some good position. But okay, knight e4. Knight e4. Yeah, that's why, you know, you don't want to go back with the bishop. This is suddenly it's some ideas with rook takes f3. I have the feeling something's cooking here. Queen e7. Queen e7, queen e7. Yeah, Beatrice is trying to escape the pin. Queen e7, knight d2. So Natasha is trying to trade the bishops and keep the knight, because, but okay, I think this is quite natural. I like that. Knight back to d6. Interesting. I was thinking black wants to trade the knight. I could be totally wrong. I would trade it, because I would think that this knight is actually much better than this bishop in e3. We don't have an outpost for it, but it does keep the c file closed. And black would try to double up on the f file. And this bishop will have to stay to protect the pawn in d4. So I would think that would be an idea. But instead, Beatrice went for knight d6. So maybe what she's trying to do is maintain the pressure, maintain a few more pieces on the board, have some idea with knight f5, put additional pressure on d4, which is the weakness here. Of course, e6 is the other weakness that black has. Both players have a weakness. The question is who will get to attack the other side's weakness first. Knight f5, bishop g5, knight b3 going towards c5. Seems natural. What's wrong with this move? Queen g6. Ooh, black might be threatening queen g6 h6. Okay, that's something to be mindful about when you're playing. Could white? No. This pawn is to be protected. I don't know about knight f3. Knight f3 could be nice because, you know, queen g6. I was going to say could be met by this, but I'm not sure. Could it? I was going to take like this, but that's a mistake. Ouch. Ouch. It's not. It's thankfully I have queen takes h4, so I survive. But, you know, you got to be careful. You got to be careful. You think you might be attacking, but the other side might do the attacking. But the knight, I think the knight is much better placed here because it can go towards e5 rather than here to go to c5. I know Natasha's probably thinking to put pressure on e6, but here maintain some defensive ideas towards the king. I'm getting a bit worried about some potential sacrifices in g3 at some point. I don't know if it happened or not. Wait, did this really happen? Wait, what happens if we take the bishop? Okay, but I mean, peace is a piece. I know I was saying you should go for your follow your heart, don't be materialistic, but a piece, it's not something I give up that easily. So Beatrice decided to go for knight takes d4? But this doesn't win the piece anymore. Ah, you know what? She was probably thinking if this queen goes somewhere, there'll be some ideas with the with some kind of checks there at some point. So you cannot go here because of knight b3. And if you go to e3, you know, a move that I would love to make, but it's terrible here, but I would love to be able to make this move, rook f3. Wouldn't this be so cute if it actually worked somehow? You know, if you had to take and then we could do something like this. I mean, I'm losing a lot of material, but I just love the geometrical patterns. I had to show that idea. So that's an idea you have in your mind. And then you need to try not to stay stuck on the idea for too long, because if you do, then that could be a way to not do so well. The players are getting in time trouble, and I've been going on for... Oh, have I been streaming for almost 3 hours? Oh, wow, I didn't even realize that. Time flies when you're having fun, that's what they say. Maybe it's time for a break, but I want to catch up with this game. It's too exciting. It's too exciting for me to leave right now, to take a break. I got my cappuccino to hold me, you know, fresh. I'm not sure if it's very wise because it is 10 p.m. here. I need to sleep after this because tomorrow I'll be back at it, and I'm looking forward to seeing more exciting chess. But this is already, you know, giving me some calculation ideas, and I can't believe I've been trolled by chess.com. H4 first move, huh? I definitely need to tell the ladies, Natasha and Beatrice, that I've been doing commentary for this H4 first move. Such a brilliant idea. How did you come up? Imagine if actually somehow more moves would show with that, and I would tell them tomorrow, you know, what an interesting game you've had, you know, H4 first move. What made you play that? I might still make that joke. They won't get it, but it's okay. You and I will know. F4. F4 traps the bishop. I still don't understand why she didn't take the bishop earlier. She probably felt that these two pawns are going to be dominant, and maybe She thought white would have compensation in the other line. Yeah, this is looking quite good for black. Yeah, this bishop in g5 is kind of stuck, and those pawns just march forward quite nicely. Okay. I love passed pawns. Well, this is a tough position for white, so we'll be back to this game. Oh, this game just finished, or finished earlier. Let's catch up. How did this happen? Where were we? Wait. We didn't look at this game that much. We didn't catch up with it much. Guys, I need to go back to make sure I know what I'm talking about. Okay, so this game is correct. This is the opening that we had. Okay. This is the other game that was the Stonewall. Okay. Okay. So this one, Queen e6 was played. Okay, black is definitely better in this position. Queen's getting traded. Extra pawn. Beatrice is on her way to win. This game we didn't see as much. This game we saw, and this game finished with a mate. Queen takes g5, followed by rook h4. I was gonna go rook f4. I wasn't gonna take the pawn, but very nice win by Jayashree. I already did kind of a recap on this game, and I'll try to ask Brian to help me clip that so that it's going to be a separate YouTube video, because it's definitely a very interesting game. Alexei did. You still didn't tell us why did you offer a draw in this position, Alexei? I felt that, yeah, I mean it's just kind of, but this game at least is correct. That's the only. Yeah, she is slightly better. Yeah, probably. We were deciding what was the best move for white maybe earlier. I was voting for bishop f4 or a5. Finally, I decided for a5. But yeah, I mean the engine is not really giving as much advantage for white. You still have your plans here. I think maybe earlier she had some maybe slight chances, but yeah, it's the right moment to offer. If yeah, it's also a late game and long day, and you know, but this game we have not caught up with much, so I definitely want to spend a bit of time to see how Natalia won this game. Oh, okay, you're gonna write an article for this tournament, or what tournament are you writing for, Alexei? Every day. Oh, I see. Okay, so be sure to check out US Chess Life online articles. They'll be published daily. I'll try to make a command for that tomorrow, and to make sure that people go in and check out your articles and your thoughts about how the game went. Sounds good. Yeah, we'll do. I will do. Will do. Okay. So let's catch up with this game. So gioco piano, Italian. Should I talk with an Italian accent? Probably not. This is an official commentary. Be serious. Knight f1, knight e7. Okay, I know these ideas for black. Yes, knight h4. I've lost some games with black. Knight g6. Interesting approach. Trading the knights. Okay, I like it. Knight f5. Everything looks decent to me right now from both sides. Very normal development. Bringing the pieces towards the king side. This bishop is very unpleasant. You have to be careful with white. Black typically is trying to find ways to go d5. Queen d7 to protect b5. Rook b8 is not possible because this bishop is hanging now on the file, right? You have to be careful since you put it there. Sometimes you can put it in b6 as well, but yeah. Queen d7. Takes, bishop e3, bishop takes e3, pawn takes, and c5. So black, okay. So Brenda was trying to get c5 in order to control d4. But you see, in these types of positions, actually, white should not go for d4, because if you go for d4, this pawn might remain behind and weak. Trying to think what would be the best approach for black here. Maybe you guys have an idea. I don't know about d5. Oh, you know, I've seen sometimes ideas. I know it looks suspicious, but something like this. To try to get the queen as last, then you can take in a1 and then takes, and then rook a8 to try to trade more pieces. You just need to be careful not to lose this pawn, but if you activate your queen, black might be fine. So that's potentially an idea. Maybe simply c6 is another idea, as long as we're not losing anything. The only problem is we leave that weak. I was going to go queen b7 next, but I'm leaving this pawn weak. I forgot about that. Yeah, this is the small issue about this pawn here. But I do like rook b8. I feel this is a nice idea. And then there's b4 too. Sometimes you can just, you know, this would be a cool idea. So okay, so you go rook b8, then you try to trade the rooks, and then you want to consider going b4, because if white considers to take back, then you go c5 then, and then you're activating your rook and everything. And if white goes c4, then you're happy about it, because then you can play c5 and kind of block the position. And then you can come on the a file back, potentially. Those are some ideas that I would consider doing. I mean, of course, it depends whom you're playing against or what the result you want to achieve. But I like this. d5. She played d4. But she has the... What's the threat? What's white's threat in this position? There's no threat. How about we get, you know, to be... Oh, am I losing something here? How about we do something like this? Simple chess. Double and rook lift. Maybe we could do something like this here. Okay, so d4 is not very liked by the engine. This is the only thing that I'm not a huge fan of. When I leave the bar for you guys, it automatically analyzes the game, so it will put mistakes. At least that will help me, since I don't have a partner for this commentary to keep me accountable for what's going on. So we do have something that keeps us accountable and makes us think why move X or Y is a mistake. So what's the issue with the capture back here? Do we have something like queen c5? Or maybe queen f2? Queen f2. Queen c5 is probably more exposed, but queen f2, putting some pressure coming on the f file. White's got some slight advantage. Okay, rook ac8. Queen f2. Yeah, but now white is up a pawn. Okay, so that was definitely quite the past two moves have been giving white the chance to take advantage. See, black didn't quite have weaknesses, or they did. Okay, let's back up a bit. Black did have this pawn as a weakness, technically, according to the rules, right? It's a backwards pawn and everything, but... Sorry. Someone has messaged me. I think it's a player. I don't know who this number is. Now everyone has my number. That's not good. So basically, that pawn, according to the rules, is a weakness. Okay. Now, when I describe weaknesses, I like to focus on what's a real target and what's just a long-term weakness that will stay for a long time that almost never gets attacked. So in my opinion, that pawn is in the second category, a kind of pawn that it's gonna be quite difficult for white to attack. So I wouldn't categorize that pawn as a real weakness. In fact, I think it helps to keep, create some strength here for those two pawns. And okay, it's backwards, right, by itself. It's attacked by one knight, but that's about it. So what happened in the next two moves that actually makes it a bit difficult for black is the fact that after d5, suddenly none of these pawns are protected. And when trades happen, then black suddenly goes, if I just, show you the position, say here, right? I show you the position here. And now I show you the position here, not here. Well, if this would have happened, right? So if I show you the position here and I show you the position before d5 was played, right? What do you notice? What do you notice between these two positions? Now black has created two weaknesses for themselves, and they're isolated pawns, and they're still not that easy to be attacked, but much easier than one sole pawn in d6. So this is the reason why when you're looking with the engine, you need to make sure that you try to understand why it says a mistake and not just look at the move that says, oh, that's bad, do this instead. Try to understand the reason behind it if you really want to progress. And if you cannot, this is something that a coach can do, of course, just suggest the improvements and the reasons why, the moves could be improved, and show you the differences between the positions, because that's the only way you're going to understand. If I just tell you, oh, this is a mistake, you're going to be like, okay, now what? You need to be explained the reason behind it, and it's going to help you so much to know how to proceed further. Okay, so rook ac8 was played, queen f2, okay, takes, d4, knight c4. Very nice push by Natalia. And then yeah, now those pawns just march. It was black who had the space earlier, had control over the center, and just a few more moves, and suddenly it is white who is taking control over everything. Okay. I apologize, I got distracted. Oh, okay. Oops, I didn't. Okay, now I know who was texting me. I apologize, 1 minute. I should save this number. You remember the person that I told you that has a similar personality as me, and I didn't think that I could meet someone as excited as I am? Yes, that's the person who was texting me. I felt bad. They have to answer. I mean, not that I have to answer. I just feel bad that she lost. Anyways, I think this was a nice finish. Look at this. Discovered attack and 96. Yeah, so after king takes, what's the fastest way for white to win? Do we go rook f1 check and knight c7? Probably, right? Fork. Very exciting chess so far. So we have 3 games remaining. This is the current position, but looks like Beatrice is on her way to win that game. This game finished in a draw. Oh, wow. That was not expected. When I was about to take a break, I guess it's not happening for me tonight. We're not taking a break. 93, 94. So the ladies repeated the position here. Okay. How do we assess this position though? Bishop f1, trade, rook takes, knight f6. I mean, black is definitely doing so much better than she was doing earlier in the game because, there's more space. There's no more, bad bishop in c8. The rook can get active on the second rank. But yeah, I mean, oh, I see. Sebastian, who needs a break when the chess is. I agree. I agree with you. I just when you talk for too long by yourself all the time, and after a full day of interviews and preparation and things, you do get a bit tired. So I don't want to say silly things, but this is an important you know broadcast for me. So I don't. That's the only reason why I would take a short break, but I'm not taking it for the moment. So I'm with you. Yes, chess is very interesting. Sometimes you just can't let it go, right? No, but this is definitely like possibly slightly better for black, but I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I would probably play on because it's me. Um, but what I would play on, I'm not sure. So, for example, here, what about c4? I would definitely consider that move. This is a nice way of getting either more space and putting additional pressure on that pawn with the knight e4 coming in. You do get to e5, but if I get to e4 and put pressure, that's scary. So maybe black was thinking that white would go knight c5, which makes total sense. I think this is probably the best move for white to control b3 and stop black from improving the position. But I feel that black can still push. I don't know if I'd go 94 here to try to trade the knight. You take, and then maybe I take like this. And have the opportunity to activate. I mean, it still could be a, position to try to progress. It's not that easy. So I guess now we have 2 games remaining at this point. So this is the current position in the game between Julia O'Neill and Angelina. Quite a bit of things have changed since we left off around here when white played h5 and tried to get on the attack. Queen d8, bishop d7, king h2. And yeah, we kind of saw the position around here, e5. So what's up with this move? Could white have taken? No. Maybe taken like this? Wow, Fisher Seb, how old do you think I am? How soon is soon? I usually get it that I look younger than I am, but I think I still have some time to compete before I get. But I'm excited that I'll have the opportunity to play. Don't get me wrong, but let's hear. Now I need to hear. A year or two? Wow. Okay. We got a troll in the stream. We got a troll in the stream. Okay, so e5. E5. Why is this move not good? I thought it was. What is happening? What is that move doing that weakens the position? It's something with takes. So maybe takes. Takes. And now some takes. Something like that in order to try to open up. And then, how do you take back? If you take like this, we might have some bishop h4, h5, sorry. Okay. So Angelina might have rushed with this move, but it does tempt to go bishop d2 and put some defense like well, wait, what happens after this? This seems fine for white. Well, relatively. The bishop is protected at least. But knight d2 was played. Okay, but now if black manages to play g5, black's on her way to win, because basically oh, that emote indicates sarcasm. I don't know all the emotes, but okay. Well, that's reassuring. At least someone thinks that. I don't know what I was gonna say. G4. G4 is scary. So white is attempting to activate the bishop there, but g4 will be played very soon, and white will be struggling to defend in this position. But Angelina does not have much time. This is another thing that's important to keep in mind, because she's on 1 minute and Julia has 15. Okay, so this game was finished in a draw. This game is still being played, and that's it, right? That was won by white. This was a draw, and this was a win by black. Let's see what happened in this game. We left off after that D pawn was pushed. Yeah, so Beatrice was bringing new pieces to support those pawns to push forward, and actually it's quite interesting, this attempt, that what she has done, and it's very important to point out that you always have to be mindful of how you push the pawns when the opponent has a bishop. So typically you want to push them on the same color as the bishop to avoid allowing the opponent to blockade you, right? So normally you would want to push e3, but I think Beatrice was trying to avoid the trades of queens, and she realized that that bishop wouldn't have sufficient time, like it wouldn't be in time to actually block the pawns. So notice how she's trading the queens here, and after f5, a move that would open the bishop to allow it to go to e3. Now she was ready to play e3 herself, and this is typically how you want to push the pawns, right? So you want to go d2 and then e2 if you can. That's how you would support them to avoid, allow the opponent to block them. And now Natasha is trying to keep that f5 pawn, and then d2, exactly as I told you, right? Not e2, because this, okay, is still probably pretty good in this position, but you know, at least it gets blocked potentially. So in order to avoid all things like that, you just go for d2. Rook b1, rook f7. Rook d7, threatening promotion, and she promoted. Okay, so this game will probably be over very soon. Okay, white is down technically an exchange in how many pawns? And a pawn, which you can take back, but this pawn is just marching forward, so this will be a win for Beatrice. Oh, that emote is sarcastic. I'm sorry. See, that's why I needed to take a break, so that I can start understanding jokes back again. Because you know, when you're tired, you understand your own jokes. You think they're funny, but probably they're nowhere near as funny as they were when you were not too tired. And that's why breaks are important, guys. I know. I'm super excited all of you are here. I gotta say, I hope you guys enjoy this stream, and you know, follow US Chess so that you stay notified when we go live. And also, of course, it will help me the more of you come join the stream, because then I'll know that I'm doing something good for chess, and maybe I'll be back for another tournament. But actually, I will be back tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm not leaving yet, but I'm just letting you know in case you have to leave. But tomorrow the round will be at 11 a.m. local time, which is mountain time. So that's 1 p.m. Eastern, if you happen to be on the eastern side of the United States. And yeah, I'll be back here hopefully on time, because you know, you never know what can happen. So I'll try to be earlier than on time, because you know, anything can happen. And I have the tendency to have things happen all the time. It's probably my emotions, because I have too many emotions get in the way. So what have we got here? Few more moves were played, but we definitely have to stay with this game. I think this is getting quite interesting because Angelina doesn't have that much time, but she does have a much better position. This king is wide open. This rook is not doing very much. The h file got blocked, but there could be some pieces hanging. Who knows? Rook d1 threatening some discovered attack. What do you do? Where do you move the queen? Let's stay with this game and see. You follow US chess? Great. Everyone else who wants to follow US chess, and next time I'm going to put my own socials there too, because why not? And we'll put Alexei Root's articles on chess, Chess Life Online as well. I'll work on that. So many things to do, so little time. Queen takes e4. Okay, so Angelina goes for another pawn. Is bishop f3 going to create anything? No, the problem is this king is sad. It's a sad king. If you put the bishop here, maybe queen g6, followed by some g4 or something. Yeah. It's not easy to play. Bishop f3, I guess, was played. So we'll have to see where Angelina's gonna move the queen. Oh, also, of course, guys, if you're here and you wanna see more of Sabina, because why not? I'm so cool, right? Sometimes. Be sure to check out my own Twitch account, but also US Chess YouTube channel. That's a link to the different class and session videos that I made so far. I have 2 videos right now. We're going to try to have them look like a podcast where I interview various chess personalities, and I try to bring strong players as well as players who might not be that strong from a rating standpoint, but who bring some spice to the game in the sense that maybe they combine chess with other activities or they do something to promote women in chess. And I would love it if you guys checked out the 2 videos that I made and let me know what you think and who you want to see on there. Also, as always, don't forget to if you like what US Chess is doing and you like their way of promoting chess in the US, you can always get involved, whether if you want to support by making a donation or simply learn more on how you can help by maybe sharing the stream or sharing something that they do or creating a club in your own city or state where you are, because I think in order to be able to promote something that we're passionate about, it has to start somewhere. And no matter how big an organization, it's always very nice to have people who are passionate about chess, who do their best to support others. And you can create a club or you can organize a tournament, and US Chess has various ways on their website that you can learn more about how to get involved. There are also grants that you can apply for at various times of the year, so it's definitely something to look forward to. Thanks, David. That was all Brian, not me, so I will let him know. Great to have you here, and always thankful for the invitation. David is one of the organizers for this tournament, together with his wife Maureen Grimond, who's part of the women's committee, always doing great to support chess. She particularly supports women's chess a lot. You must have seen her if you went to any of the national events, and she's wonderful. Wonderful person and supporter of chess. Both of them are. So thankful to them that I'm here also, and the tournament takes place here as well. All right, bye for now, Alexei. Thanks so much for stopping by. So, all right, what is going on here? G4. Bishop, wait, there was someone who said a line, and I'm sorry, Fisher, I missed your line. You said bishop d4 in this position? Oh, what did you want to do? Did you think you're getting Boden's mate? I'm sorry to disappoint you. There's a rook over here that you might have missed. You might have missed this. That would be gorgeous. I'll give you that. That would be a gorgeous mate, but unfortunately it's not a mate. I always wanted to make this, to get the chance to do this mate on the board once, but unfortunately it's not this one. You want this rook on from here. So Boden's mate does not work. Besides, after bishop d4, I think we can even capture here, or yeah, king f1 is actually great. The problem is, now your queen is hanging and the bishop will be hanging the next move, so you got to be careful. Always double check. Never play without double checking. Yeah, so no. So that would be unfortunately a blunder for Angelina. But nice catch. Nice catch is a nice idea to show, Boden's mate. It's a mate where you typically sacrifice a queen and then you mate with two bishops. It's kind of a cute mate. I always love finding cute stuff. And I guess you can never tell what's cute because everything for Sabina is cute. It's like, cute is my middle name. No, that's not what I meant to say. It's just something that it's a word that I used so much with chess. I always love the creativity of the game when you can have out of nowhere, something comes out of nowhere with some geometrical pattern or something that you know from the past, and you just can create it. I just love the creation part. Okay, so what have we got here? Queen g5, 95. 95. Okay, so now bishop d4 makes perfect sense. Yeah. Or why I could just flag? No, that's not possible because there's increment. There's 10 seconds, the 30 seconds increment. So they are playing 90 minutes with 30 seconds increment per move. So no flagging. I'm not saying it's not possible, but very likely it's not going to happen. So now we got to go king f1, and then probably black's going to find some way to either something with b6 or... Wait, isn't this knight just hanging? Oh, I didn't even realize. See, that's why I should have taken a break, but now it's too late. Julia probably missed the fact that that check opens up the queen. That's why that's a mistake. I mean, it looks kind of sus, but at least we could have tried queen h4. Trade the queens, activate the rook. Something like that, maybe. What happened in... So this game finished in a draw. Is this game over? Okay, so Beatrice won. A very nice game. This is the game that I was trolled by chess.com that is started with h4. At least I learned a new thing. I took a screenshot of that. I'm definite. Well, actually, this is recorded, so for those of you who clipped that moment, good for you. We'll have it for a lifetime. I was super excited about the move, though. Even h4 first move, and it was a French. I mean, how far from that could you be? To h4. Okay, back to main game. No time to lose. What's happening here? Okay, so all right, so Julia is still thinking here. Bishop d4. Yeah, I mean, she can only go to f1. There's no other There's no other move. I mean, I guess you could play knight e3, but it's not helping much. Bishop e3 to survive a bit longer. Ah, bishop e3. Does it survive a bit longer? It's still a piece down. Yeah, this is tough. This is an interesting game because in a way, you know, white is trying to push the pawns on the king side, but didn't manage to get anything. The king stayed kind of trapped in the middle, and the position slowly opened up. And it was white's king that got to be attacked first. That's basically what happened. So, do you guys have any questions about this tournament? Future tournaments that US Chess will cover? There is one that, this is the most important one right now. So tomorrow I will be live around 1 p.m. Eastern time, if you guys are on the East Coast. And then I think the next round was at, let me see, because I always get confused with the different time zones. Okay, so 6 p.m. Eastern time will be the next time that I'll go live. But tomorrow, first time, 1 p.m. Eastern time. Be there. I hope you'll be there to support. Is there someone that you guys are supporting? Those of you who are in the chat that you don't mind letting me know about. King f1. Nope, that wasn't played. This is the current position. This is the current position. No one? You just stopped by to say hi and enjoy some commentary? I appreciate you, Fisher Seb. And make a joke, yeah, about my age. That part I didn't get. But now I know you're being sarcastic, so that's fine. You know, to make it up, you can only say that I look like much younger. You support Maureen? Yes, David. That's definitely, of course. You have no choice, though. I'm kidding. Maureen is doing a wonderful job and always thankful and appreciative for the opportunity to work with you. This is going to be exciting as the final game of the tournament. And so this tournament, for those of you who joined in late or don't know much, so it takes place in Salt Lake City in Utah. And it's a closed, it's the second US Senior Women's Championship. Last year it was held in California, I think. Wait, bishop e3, what did I miss? Bishop e3, bishop e3, queen e3, f e3, rook h5? What? Why should we look at this for fun? Why is, oh, I see why. Because in case black's gonna fall for this, is that the reason why we should look at this for fun? Okay, because now you know that I love geometrical patterns, so now you're gonna find all of the great. Hey, listen, this is great. I'm glad you guys are here to interact with me. Yeah, I mean, sure. So what should black do in this position after rook h5? Yeah, the queen is trapped. I'll give you that. But I think black has so many options, I don't even know which one to choose. Should we go for something like this? Seems quite decent. Takes, 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 takes. E2 maybe or something, right? It is trapped. You're trapping. It's a nice idea. Nice idea, Fisher. But yeah, it's okay. So King F1 is playing knight takes d5, but unfortunately this is tough for Julia because she lost that knight and there's a piece down, and she did put up a great fight, I would say, against Angelina, the strongest player in the tournament, the current champion, defending champion, I should say. I break. Oh no, Fisher! No, no, I'm not trying. I'm not. Oh, I'm not trying to. I feel bad sometimes. I'm the kind of person that always tries to find the best in people and always be nice, but I guess sometimes I got my moments when I'm not on purpose. I'm not trying, but when it's about chess, I'm all about the correct move, If you find a good move, you should always look for a better one, right? I'm going for that kind of um idea. But your idea was nice to keep putting up the fight. So um that's all, I wasn't trying to put your move down. I was just saying nice, but unfortunately it's just as heartbreaking. Okay. So I'll keep it up. Let's just refresh. I think sometimes when I put different lines, it just gets changed a bit. No, come on, Justful. I'm always nice. Unless I play, then I'm not nice. Okay, that's the time that you see I'm not nice, Sabina. And actually, I had a conversation with a lot of people about this, and I've listened to other strong players talk about emotions. I think emotions are very important to be talked about and discussed because, there's a lot of emotions that go through the mind of chess players, especially when things don't go their way. And unfortunately, it's a lot of negative emotions, and they put themselves down. And there needs to be some talk about this, and just try to find ways to acknowledge that loss is part of the game, and it's the way that you have to pass through in order to get better. I think when we lose, we think so hard, like so badly about ourselves sometimes, that it also shows on the outside, and some people don't understand it. But for some, chess is a way of life, is their life, is everything for some people. And this is the reason why I think they put so much pressure on themselves, and they just want to always find ways to win and do better, so yeah, I mean, comment. Wait, what do you think of Gukesh having mental coach? Yeah, no, I love listening to his interview post winning the championship. I think he's so mature for his age, and I saw a lot of people saying he had a dream and he made it reality because in 2018 he said he wanted to be a world champion, and now he's the youngest world champion. All true, but in order to get from that dream to make it reality, he has probably given up a lot on his childhood ideas. He also said in the interview he's been very disciplined and focused on his goal. He tried to make sure that he put a lot of hard work, I'm sure, a lot of intense hours on chess, and just making that dream come true. It's not easy. It's not easy to do that. And because you're passing through various emotions, I agree that I think mental coach is very important to have. You need to know how to deal with losses. you have to be mentally prepared for everything that's going to be thrown to you, especially when you're playing such a strong tournament where people are going to ask you questions after the game is over. Like that's, you have to be ready for no matter what they're going to ask you, you have to stay strong and not let external comments affect the way you're going to um, compete in the future rounds. And I think that worked great for him because he lost the first game, right? And he game back soon after. He won the game, right, with queen takes c6, brilliant, and then he lost the next one. And then how do you come back after that? You tell yourself, oh my goodness, how could I be so silly to not be able to hold this? I don't want to give myself an example, but I mean, I've played chess for some time, and I had once a thing like this that happened to me. I was playing in my first women's world championship. I was 18, and basically what happened is we did 1-1 in the classical games. It was a knockout system, so it was 1-1 in classical chess, and then I won my first rapid game, and I couldn't handle it. The pressure of trying to get a draw. I played for a draw. That was a wrong thinking process. So I lost. And then again, I won the first blitz game. And again, I tried to play for a draw. I didn't learn my lesson the first time. I didn't really have, I had my dad with me, but it wasn't, I don't know. I guess we didn't talk about it as much. That was the approach that we decided to take, and I lost again. And then in the final game, it was an Armageddon game at the time. They don't do them after what happened to me. I understand that they tried to change the rules. So basically what happened is we got into this end game. I had the black pieces, so with the draw, I would go to the next round. But instead of that, we got into an endgame king knight versus king knight, but I had a second on the clock, and I had a few seconds, I don't know, and I didn't think to press the clock and stop the clock and claim a draw. And I kept saying draw, draw, and then I lost. My time ran out, and the arbiter actually gave me a draw, but my opponent made the claim that she should win because, of course, there's a mate position. So I got eliminated from that world championship, and it was very tough. I couldn't deal with those kind of emotions, and that was something that happened to me, but it wasn't even that huge. It was the first round of this championship, but for me it was huge because it was something big. To be that young, to compete for my country, I don't know what was the youngest female player that competed when I was back in Romania. So I think if I had someone to tell me that I should forget about it and focus at the next game just like it's a normal game, I feel that maybe things would have been different. And that's why I think, having someone to be there with you, to talk you through the stuff that's not just chess related, I think is very, very important, and will definitely see more than that, in my opinion. Did I see Gukesh dancing? No, I did not see Gukesh dancing, but I'll check that video later after the stream. Yeah, Gukesh seems so mature for his age. I mean, he's 18, and there's more to follow. I don't think we're gonna see him play with Magnus, unfortunately. I don't think that's gonna happen. I know he probably wants that the most because he was saying he wants to be the best. But I think he might be the second best, or who knows. But I love his focus and determination for the game, and just keeping his calm and not showing as much emotions. Okay, he did show a bit of emotions at the end when he was crying temporarily, but it's just to me it was just amazing to see him win. Of course, Fisher Sub. Yeah, I mean, I think oftentimes, like I said, for some people, chess is life, and it's their life, and that's how they make a living. So a loss could mean they don't have enough to survive, or some not survive, but it's just they're going to be negative financially or something. And I remember growing up, sometimes, my parents would sometimes joke about it, but to me, I took it seriously. They would sometimes say, I mean, things were sometimes times were tough when I was quite young. Romania was still passing or getting over the communist era, and people didn't have that much. And I remember my parents would say, well, we lived another day and we didn't starve. And it was this kind of thing that, to me as a kid, it stayed into my mind, like, I need to be mindful about what I do in life, and I need to make sure that I work hard so that I always have something good to eat. I know it sounds kind of maybe easy in these days to think about, but and so that grew with me, because these days, I actually have my pantry full of food. I always there's always going to be food in my house, because I think I just grew up with this idea that, sometimes we're really tough, that they would not win in tournaments, and there wasn't that many savings that they had. And it there was no day that actually, it was that bad, but I'm just saying, it was just this mentality that I grew with, that you always have to be mindful with everything and thankful for what you get, because you never know what tomorrow could bring. So anyways, back to Gukesh. Let's see, what else did you guys say? Gukesh doesn't seem like he would break if he lost or had setbacks. Well, that's probably the mental coach has helped him a lot. How is it to be the world champion but not the number one ranked player? I don't know. I know some people say that the world championship has lost a bit of its prestige because Magnus is not playing, but I don't know. I mean, he made the decision for various reasons. He's trying to get faster time controls, which I understand. With the time, things have changed, but yeah, in a way, it could also hurt some people, right? Because they do want to be, remembered as the best, and who knows what we'll remember it by. Well, guys, looks like this was the final game and it is over. What an exciting round, right? I came late on stream, and I'm sorry about that, all of you. It's great to have had the pleasure to do commentary for the first round, and I'll be here for the next 4 rounds. Be sure to tune in tomorrow. The round is at 11 a.m. local time, 1 p.m. Eastern time. I would love to see as many of you. The game of the day, the one that I spent more time on explaining, was definitely the board 6, and it was a bit heartbreaking to me, as I told you, because I felt so excited to hear Sharnaz's story, and I hope that her book on Fisher will get published soon, so that you guys have the opportunity to read more stories about him and his life, because I think that would be super exciting. Always remember 1H4. I need to talk to my coach and tell him to prep something for me. On that, it's crazy. I've been trolled. That's all I can say. I cannot believe. I couldn't believe that happened, but like, really, that was nothing like the game. But hey, we have it there. It was a great moment. We talked about it. We had fun, and yeah, I hope you guys continue, being here, supporting me, and checking out this event. And I think I'm gonna head out now. I will be seeing you guys tomorrow, and let's raid someone before we go. Maybe we'll raid Chess Dojo. Can I raid Chess Dojo? If I could, I would, but my computer is acting out. That's not good. That's not good at all, computer. Okay. One moment. So it's been great talking to all of you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your night or morning, depending when you are watching. And I cannot wait to see you tomorrow and for another exciting day of chess. And let's hope chess.com doesn't troll us, right? Once again, thanks so much, Maureen and David, and for making this event happen and having me here. US Chess, Precision Tune, AutoCare, of course, the sponsor of the event, and US Chess. Have a wonderful rest of your night, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye for now.